Well, it's time to hit the pitch with some Rocket League, being able to have some bragging rights and show off some of your skill against your fellow classmates across Charlotte. This is the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League live here on Podium Esports. A privilege to bring you down to the field and get ourselves some Rocket League action here on Podium Esports. I am Devin Henry alongside Kenneth Bueno for the action. Gary Sexton is behind the scenes pushing all the buttons for us and making the magic happen. But not until we get some extra magic down there on the turf, Kenneth. We get to see some Rocket League from some bright young high schoolers today from across Charlotte, and this right here is one of my favorite things with high school esports, the fact that you get to go with your peers and show off a little bit of your bragging rights and your skill, show off who is the best in your district and here in CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League.
You know, in some cases, Devin, it transfers from like real sports where you have district rivalries and all that. You can have that in esports as well as real sports. So we're going to see a lot of that tonight. Of course, this is the preseason we're talking about in this first week. So maybe not necessarily full-on rivalry by any stretch of the imagination, but we do get to see a lot of young talents from Rocket League get to showcase their stuff, have a lot of fun, and work with their teammates. It's going to be exciting tonight on Podium.
So here's what we're going to be looking at today. There's going to be a total of 6 different one-on-one matches, if you will, over the course of 4 groups. And so what these are best of 7 matches. So essentially whoever to win 4 games first in a set of 7 goes on, wins that round of the tournament. We're going to be having all these schools from this league, from this school district, go against one another out on the Rocket League pitch and figure out who is the best here in the preseason. As Kenneth alluded to, so much more coming up on the way for a full season of high school varsity esports in the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League. But Kenneth, I know for a fact that you are a very avid Rocket League player yourself. Now, typically when we talk about high school sports, your high school football team isn't going to beat anyone who's playing in college. Your high school soccer team isn't going to take on any sort of MLS team and win. But when it comes to certain esports, there is an absurd amount of talent sometimes in just how well these kids can play. Take us through what some of the major parts of Rocket League are in terms of being a successful player in this game.
Well, Rocket League is very complex in some sort of way. It has a lot of intricacies in it with the way that you handle the ball, the way you can pass, the way you can redirect, the way you can defend. And we usually see a lot of rotation in a lot of these plays throughout. I mean, even the youngest kids here in high school and even some of the pros on the higher level like RLCS we talk about. But in Rocket League, I mean, you're really looking at keeping the team intact, making sure there's always a player at some side of the field because you don't want to have that weak side, and then the air dribbles, being in the air, and getting to do all that. It's a lot of fun. I mean, there's a lot to be shown in Rocket League tonight. I think we're going to somewhat explain a lot of that and see it over the course of the night with all of these matches, but there's a lot to Rocket League that really can make a team successful, whether you're aggressive, whether you're a little more conservative, whether you want to play off the other team and counterattack. Just a lot of elements in it.
It's very high-paced. It is very high-flying action, too. You talk about air dribbling and being able to control the game, not down on the pitch, but up in the air, and that's a massive part of how you can be successful in a game and in a series. But when you look at how these matches are set up, it's 3-on-3, best-on-best from each school. So take me through some of the rules. What does it take to be a good teammate here in Rocket League?
Well, one way to be a good teammate in a way, Devin, is to obviously pass the ball. Get the ball to your teammates. Make sure that the defense or the other side really isn't going to interfere on most of those plays you have. And a lot of the players, I mean, they take up different roles, whether it's high school or even the pro level esports, whether they want to be the aggressor or if they want to be that guy that holds everybody down, wants to pass it to everybody else. They don't want to be the ball hogger in any case. They want to be the facilitator, give it to those guys on other sides of the pitch, and then be able to find that ball into the back of the net. We see a lot of older people in the Rocket League scene on the pro side be that type of facilitator, and then you've got the young guns that usually are the most aggressive and usually are the freestylers. They tend to show off a little bit more. Those older players seem to be a little more like the veteran role, and these high school students, they seem to be around the same age, you know, in the same range in that case. So maybe we don't see a full-on leader by any of the teams, but we'll see those roles be played. We'll see those aggressors. We'll see those guys that want to hold the fort down and put the team to success.
And we will certainly see the evolution of these teams throughout the season. This is just a preseason scrum. This is still getting to know your teammates. These kids will go and spend time, just like you would in any other sport, practicing with one another for their varsity esports groups. And so here in Rocket League, you have these groups of 3 at every individual school, and they are taking the time to practice with one another, to get better. And Kenneth, that can mean a lot because you don't just have the individual playmakers, the individual facilitators. There's so many nuances in Rocket League where you can have, it's not necessarily called this, but there are combo type situations where you can work with your teammate to make certain plays work. Anything like you do see in the NBA and the NFL, there are plays that you can put together with your team to help advance the ball and go and score.
And what that does, Devin, is build confidence. You talk about that these players are really getting the first time in this preseason to work with each other, play with each other, see how their styles interact with one another, and then build a successful team that can win later on in this season. We're going to see a lot of that tonight. And in that case there, if you can find those plays, if you can find those little moments where you're passing the ball right, where you're getting control of the possession over the other team, it's going to build a lot of confidence. And I think these kids that definitely have a lot of talent in this Rocket League scene are going to be able to only further propel their success, only further propel their skills by working with others and building that camaraderie in that case.
And we'll get to see these teams grow. Again, this is just a preseason tournament. We're going to see these teams evolve. We're going to see these matchups also start to kind of have a growth to it where you're going to see guys want to play this guy in this week. I want to play this team in this week, just like you do in any other high school sport. Except here, you're going to be playing similar teams throughout the year, not to mention, particularly with this broadcast too, you get to see these other teams. You're not just guessing anymore. So we're going to get ready here for our first match of the day. These, again, are two high schools playing 3-on-3, Olympic versus JT Williams Montessori. Getting ready to roll here. Our first match of the preseason is underway for the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League here on Podium Esports. And right off the bat, they want to go sky high, and they'll bring it back to the turf, though, real quick. It's two completely different games, one from the sky like you see here with Finger, and, of course, you can still play it down on the pitch. A lot of different ways to go at different athletes here.
That's definitely true. You already see a couple attempts at shot at goal, but everybody already taking to the skies. Here's Finger on the corner. He's going to look high. He'll find Nutella God, but Ginger Ace is there for the interception. It looks like Nutella God's going to be able to find his way back. And for right now, Williams Montessori holding control of the possession. But yes, you can have a style, Devin, where you can hold it to the ground and keep it planted on the turf, but you do need to have some of those aerial skills. As Finger goes sky high, he takes the ball out and pushes it back to the blue half.
JT Williams in the orange in this match, Olympic in the blue, and you already see trying to get on the offensive edges of things. Olympic trying to find their way over across that halfway mark. Now Telegod's now going to be able to try to put this ball in the corner. Dabine 360 going sky high again, but they still can't quite seem to get possession and back past midfield.
Yeah, it looks like Williams Montessori already showing their aggression. As Olympic a little slow to their feet here, Devin, to find that offensive powerhouse. It looks like Dabine is going to now bring it to their side of the field. Snore is going to look to have that out of there, but a nice pass to Ginger Race, although it hits the left post, and it's going to be out of there for now. There's an open net. Nutella God will try to put it in, and he will. Nose in, 1-0.
Look at this. Started this ball out from full court. Was able to take this all the way in and has the final little tap. First blood goes to JT Williams. We play 5-minute matches here in Rocket League. This is going to be a best of 7. So you have to win 4 different matches, and of course having first blood pays a lot here, Kent, in terms of momentum, and also the fact that it took a minute and a half. So these can be very long spurts of time where you're going scoreless and just trying to volley back and forth.
Yeah, when you have teams constantly on the defensive end hitting the ball over and over and over again, there have been moments like that, Devin, where the teams stall because either their offenses are around the same or their defenses happen to be so strong and they can't really quite get the luck to have the ball enter the net. This is a nice pass to Nutella God, though, with the top finger. Will try to meet it up there. He's got no busto, so he'll let that one slide. And now Murado will try to find it. He'll give it a Ginger Ace at this point. That's a nice shot as well, but it will not go in. But we're seeing somewhat of the patience being unplayed by a lot of these teams. They're starting to step it up. I think they're getting a little more comfortable here. We'll just see how it goes in this best of 5. Dabine with a shot, and Dabine with a score. 1-1 even.
So Dabine 360 knots us up. And this is going to be a best of 5 match here that we have. So it's going to be the first to win 3 of these games will win this tournament battle. Back to the face-off, almost halfway through set number 1. Nutella God is able to get the last little touch there to Bean, trying to center things back up, trying to bounce off the wall. And you already see, Kenneth, Olympic feels like they're playing a little bit closer to the ground. They want to keep this ball on the pitch. Meanwhile, JT Williams is being able to go up sky high a little bit more. They want to keep this game above ground.
Yeah, it's definitely true. You can already tell that Williams really is comfortable at this aerial game. You'll see Finger here. He'll try an aerial shot, although could not really get the ball planted there on his nose. Snore going to clear that one out, and they'll push it back to the Olympic half, this time through a potential pass here center. It won't necessarily happen, but yes, you're right. Williams Montessori very comfortable with the aerial game, which I think may be a threat if you look at a lot of the teams here. As Nutella got tried to find a score. There was a shot by Finger, and it was deflected off by Olympic, and Olympic is able to hold control. You could already tell Olympic wants to keep it on the ground, but Williams Montessori is just, trying to keep up, and they are at a rapid pace, and another shot on goal. Can't quite get it, though.
Rapid speed, rapid pace. We already talked about rolls, too. We haven't talked a lot about Snore. He goes flying by right there, but he's been able to. Gingerlace comes up with the demo. Snore's been in the goal for the most part and bringing up the back half of this Williams team, and now Finger and Snore have to retreat. Going here, and they'll stop this ball. DeBean was able to get it into Williams territory, though, and right now Olympic trying to keep it beyond midfield. His Finger's now going to have a solo control of this ball. Goes directly into DeBean, though. Olympic with an opportunity here to keep the ball with momentum in their favor coming down to the final minute here in match number 1.
And they had more players, and Alvarado there with a score of his own to give Olympic the lead. Look at the pass from DeBean out of the right corner, and then Alvarado found him. It looked like Snore tried to go for the early pre-save and could not do it. Got there a little bit too early, and now Olympic find their first lead of the series.
And that's with only 62 seconds to go. So this is going to up the intensity here for Williams. You already seen a Telegod trying to go with a joust in midair, and now he's going to try to center this ball up. Does so. No one can get there in time. Loose ball, and Morado's, though, able to clear it out.
And he's going to find it, but he's all by himself. Finger actually whiffed that one. Nutella got with a save, and then Alvarado with a double tap and dunks it in his face. 3-1 Olympic.
He didn't need anybody else. Emerado might have just put the dagger here in game number 1 off the Nutella God block. He'll put it into the back of the net with 41 seconds to go. A 3-1 Olympic lead. And again, back to the intensity here. Snore going at DeBean 360, able to get the ball passed, but Ginger Ace is there to clean it up.
And you need, if you're Williams Montessori, to step up the pace here. You cannot afford these mistakes and afford, these little misses on the ball, because Olympic, although they looked a little slow in the opening half of this first game, Devin, now is really where they're starting to kick things up, and Williams can't really maintain pace with them whatsoever. And now Alvarado with a shot on open goal, and it is not looking good at all for Williams Montessori. 4-1 the score.
Make it a hat trick now, and it comes in the second half of this first match. 4-1 ball game. And Olympic looks like they will close out match number 1, a best-of-5 set here. So we still got a few more games to go. But as you talked about, Kenneth, Olympic was a slow start here. They got settled in. And now you see DeBean even going towards the skies. Final seconds here. Important rule in Rocket League. When the clock hits 0, the ball is not dead until it hits the turf after that ball hits 0. So they can try to keep this ball up here. DeBean trying to throw a little bit more out there, but Olympic will take a 4-1 victory here in match number 1, but this is a best of 5. Still got to win 2 more for Olympic, but I do got to say, Kenneth, that was an impressive change of pace there from Olympic to go from being a little bit timid at the start. They got set in, and then they pushed the ball, got the scores to go, and they took over completely momentum-wise.
That's why you can never judge a book by its cover, Devin. We saw in the opening couple of minutes, Olympic really slow, really sluggish, could not really keep pace with Williams Montessori, at least in the beginning. Williams Montessori showed a lot of offensive prowess to start, but then Olympic had the patience. Olympic were able to find the ball in the right place, get the teammates involved, and Amrata with his 3 goals in this first game. So Olympic looking very strong already. We'll just hit to see how Williams Montessori will respond here in game number 2.
So where do you think Williams needs to make a little bit of a change here to get themselves back in the right direction? They were the ones who scored first, but they were not able to continue on there and keep pushing towards the goal. We saw Olympic start to really put pressure on them and keep the ball in their half of the field.
Well, for Williams Montessori here, Devin, they just have to avoid the silly mistakes. I saw there, especially on the defensive end, they were missing the ball a little bit. They were overcommitting a little too much. It felt like the team was sort of packed into one place at all times in some cases where Olympic would have the ball, they would chase up the field, and then all of a sudden you would see Williams Montessori just pack it in, all three of them near that goal line. And although they were close to potentially saving the ball a couple of times, Olympic were able to push through, and those misses by the Williams Montessori was enough to do them in for that first game. We'll see if it picks up. It looks like a potential open goal here for Snore, but he's going to miss it off the high bar.
All right, so we bring in one of our special guests this week. Tarek is with us here as we get ready here for match number 2. And already Olympic with a good start here as they continue to try to push the net. But Tarek, great to have you here and excited to have some CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League action.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear.
Excellent, excellent. Well, I am excited to finally see this thing come to life. And I will tell you, having watched that first game right there, the very first ever game produced and cast for the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League, it is going to be everything I thought it could be and more. And right now, Olympic, I don't know if you guys know this or not, they're one of the top teams. I'm expecting Olympic to be in that championship at the end of the regular season. But I'm watching Williams Montessori because they were one of the groups that really showed interest early on and muscled their way up to create a team. They're very proactive. I think they're going to be highly coachable, but the might of teams like Olympic and others are just going to be so hard to handle. As you're seeing right now, Olympic got off to a bit of a shaky start, and Montessori was all over them, and then they got their nerves under control, their jitters down, and then all of a sudden they started wrecking shop.
Ginger Ace trying to go 1-on-3 there, and we also already see our first substitution of the night. Grassy jumping in as Williams is trying to make a little bit of a change here. But tell me, Tarek, a little bit more about your role here with CMS and everything going on with this league and exactly what the goal is here, trying to bring in these high schoolers and let them show off and showcase some of their talents here in Rocket League.
Yeah, absolutely. And fellas, welcome. We haven't cast before. I've been casting with the Stay Plugged In and Charlotte Phoenix crew for years now. You can call me Overlord rather than say my name, which is hard to pronounce. And I will tell you, as we see that score, Olympic once again proving not only do they have the touch, but they've got already this series on lockdown. The reason this exists, folks, and let me tell you, is esports is huge. We all know that right now. Competitive esports at a collegiate level, scholarships are going all over the place. But high school esports is still in its infancy across the nation. And this is one of the first top 20 sized high school systems that have come together and inside their walls with the athletic director and the CTE department said, we're going to have, just like on Friday Night Lights with varsity football or varsity basketball or baseball, we're going to have varsity esports and STEM, and it's going to be Wednesday Night Lights. And I can tell you something, someone who's followed esports for a long time, but also varsity high school sports, I think the combination in this Wednesday Night Lights model is going to produce something different than we've seen on either one of those fronts so far.
And we will see more teams as the night goes on. This is just game number 2 of a 5-set bout here between Olympic and Williams. But what makes these schools that we are going to see today is another great save there, that time by Ginger Ace. Tell me a little bit more about these high schools. What makes them special? Why are they the ones trying to pioneer this year in CMS?
Well, what makes it unique is there's a lot of high schools across the country and in Charlotte and everywhere else where one or two high schools is trying to pioneer it, and they're trying to get involved, and they play in competition, and they get pretty good. I think what makes it unique is all the high schools are participating. And just like, West Meck plays Garinger, Butler plays, Olympic in football or basketball or baseball, now they're going to compete in a closed circuit loop against each other, and they're going to have coaching. So I think, one, the fact that it's occurring where they're all in this very competitive pressure cooker, and Wednesday Night Lights are occurring in our own backyard, and they're suddenly rooting against their arch nemesis team. I think that, paired with the fact that it's also STEM, they're graded, and the leaderboard each week is charged up, not just on who wins at Rocket League, varsity and JV, but also who builds the coolest tech on a week-by-week competitive basis. It's something that hasn't happened before, and as we know with Stay Plugged In, as we know with all these other YTAC and other existing programs, Kids are going to college on full rides. This is a career. People are creating million and billion-dollar startups. This is the place to be, and all of a sudden, it's smack dab right in the middle of CMS.
We even see a little bit of a stalemate between Ginger A's and Grassy as they'd make that 2-on-2 game real quick. And you talk about STEM, and we have STEM programs across the nation, whether it be robotics. This one's going to find the back of the net by being 360, make it a 2-0 game for Olympic. And, of course, for those guys who don't know, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. And we see robotics, we see esports, we see media, and that goes across the nation. Here specifically, this is Charlotte. This isn't groups across the nation. These are the Charlotte schools taking a large entry into it. This is Charlotte. Should take a famous Rocket League quote right there. But that's another part of what makes this special. This isn't just a couple of groups across the country. This is one special core, as Olympic will take game number 2 as well, 2-0, to make this special themselves. This isn't a wide group, a wide variety. This is one core base of schools saying, we want to be part of this and make it into something big.
And that's why I think this is so crazy. Like, it's not unique or new for a school to have a Rocket League or a League of Legends or whatever team, right? What's unique is that, and I haven't seen it nationwide, is a top 20 size school system. There are 20 high schools inside this system, and you know, over 100,000 kids. Like, this is practice right now. This is live on Twitch, but we didn't tell anyone except the kids that are playing, because this is preseason. It's the soft launch, and we want to make sure the kids know how to show up and get into lobbies and all that stuff. The coaches are there. This launches next week, and I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of eyeballs, a lot of kids rooting in a way that just hasn't happened geographically with esports yet, and I'm really excited to see that blend in with the STEM side. I think it's going to be just super unique.
Yeah, this is the preseason. We're not even into the actual season yet. And so when you look at how that season is going to look, Overlord, when you look at how we're getting to the championship, talk us through the format, how are teams qualifying for the championship through these tournaments throughout these next coming months.
Regular season? Talk about regular season? We're talking preseason right now, man. That's probably never been said in the history of the world. No. After we get our stuff together as we enter this third game, which could be a clean sweep and a best-of-5 for Olympic, what you're going to see after preseason starting next week is a normal regular season varsity high school league where ultimately, oh man, this is going in. Sorry guys, I'm excited to see Rocket League live again here in the league. You're going to see that happen week over week. The schools play each other. The leaderboard evolve as Olympic once again shows us Williams Montessori, you may have the Montessori model. You may have that amazing approach where kids learn and do all this unique stuff, but you do not have the Rocket League chops to come at us. That's what we're hearing right now, and that's what we're going to see in this regular season.
And Drake's a little versatile there.
Yes, exactly. So what's going to happen is all these guys are going to get coached up, right, and girls. They're all going to get better. They're going to practice as a team, and as we get towards the playoffs, we're going to have a leaderboard ranked out. We're going to know who's going in and what the seeds are, and then it's going to head towards the championship, whereas all of a sudden Montessori heard me say that, I think, and they are not going to have it. Takes it off the wall, a little bit of aerial play here as we see, you know, maybe a little bit, not exactly, you know, the JV level or entering varsity level skills here. You're going to see more and more of the aerial games, the double touches, all the amazing stuff as the season goes on. And our partners, Tepper Sports, which is Charlotte FC, and the Carolina Panthers, we're in discussions with them on unique things we can do in the playoffs and the championships. Will we have the championships at Bank of America Panther Stadium? I don't know, but it's a question you can ask yourself.
And boy, what a great opportunity for these students to be able to play competitive Rocket League against their peers. Now, not necessarily you always know people across your school district, but that's how rivalries are made. Sometimes the kids that you grew up with go to different high schools. You get to know them better, or you just see them at the local restaurant as Grassy goes airborne. Knocks in that ball, and Williams is up 2-1 with 3:33 to go. They're making a game here.
And what I love about this, guys, is here we are. Usually we're watching, you know, a pro team, the Charlotte Phoenix, take on, you know, Liquid or Cloud9 or something like that, right? Here, this is about getting more people into the fold of esports, letting them see how exciting it is like this. And to be able to come in, and you may not know who Phoenix or Cloud9 is. If you're in Charlotte, you know who Olympic is. You know who Garinger and West Mech is. You can immediately come in and start rooting for something the second you step into the fold on Twitch without even knowing how the game is played. This, to me, has the potential to be a game changer. Off of it right there.
Snore looking down the middle, goes off the crossbar, though. Heading back to the opposite side, Nutella God retreating back on defense, able to kick it out of the corner. Ginger Ace, who scored that other goal for Olympic earlier, typically rounding up the backside of Olympic on the defensive end. He's been a little bit extra, though, looking to score and put a little bit more pressure here. Williams, though, brings it back the other way. Grassy, Nutella God can't put it away, and Murata with the save.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming a game for Williams at this point. They've definitely picked it up. A lot more comfortability there. Nutella God off the top, but can't do it. Grassy looking to follow up, but the Bean were able to take it up to the sky. And they'll be able to clear for a moment, but Nutella God finds the ball and makes it 3-1. Williams Montessori, they are not done quite yet.
Boy, Overlord, Overlord, you said just one thing. And then Williams slides out, and they have a 2-goal lead here. Still 2:20 to go, though. This is still a lot of game left to go for Olympic. We've seen just how quick they're able to score offensively.
I have seen a lot of amazing things. I am probably the world's most – oh, man. They're just coming in.
Nutella God coming out of the backfield for that.
I am probably the world's foremost, like, mediocre Rocket League team, kind of like talent scout and caster. Like, there isn't anyone in the mediocre to poor Rocket League segment that's better than me. And I have seen this firsthand for 3 years now. Wow. As all of a sudden they just give that away. I am telling you, watching the kids at this level being treated like they're in that professional realm with pro casters like yourselves, with pro production behind the scenes and all this stuff, like, it's unique, and they feel the nerves. And right now, look, we've got over 60 people eyes on this Twitch, and we haven't told anybody yet. This was purposeful, not telling anyone, because I wanted to see what was going to break and what was going to happen this week. When this is announced next week, and then each week for the next 6 weeks for the regular season, I can't fathom how many eyes virally are going to make its way to start checking this out. And as Nutella comes in again, showing us those skills, those are going to relate directly to nerves. And these kids are going to have to figure out, like, I love what I'm seeing with Montessori right now with no, like, limited coaching, about a week and a half, 2 weeks of coaching. And for them to not be on tilt, completely given up in the final game of a series of 5, to the point where now Olympic is probably, unless something changes the next $141, they're going to be going into the next game on tilt. That is the mental game of esports. And that's where we have the athletic department of CMS and others coming in, providing coaching side kind of support. And we're exploring, like, behavioral mental coaching and help. Like, these are the kinds of things that turn mediocre teams into slightly better mediocre teams in esports.
And especially, like you said, when you just start coaching as a team, I mean, a lot of us have played Rocket League where you just jump into a group together and, okay, you got to learn how to play. It is a different level when you get 3 guys on a pitch who work together and know how to work together. I think some of us who have just played solo and then you come up against a team who's playing 3-on-3 who knows each other well, you see the difference. And these guys right now are learning how to work as a team. Get those combos down. Learn the roles of every individual person and where you go. And that's something that we're going to get to see evolve throughout the year.
That's exactly right. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I saw someone who sucked terribly at the beginning of the season just go up and up right now as they're taking their best shot at equalizing this, nothing's over till it's over, I would have a lot of nickels, guys, because I'm telling you, when they start practicing, just normally, all of a sudden, they take it seriously. I believe that there will be a compound effect from the fact that all these schools are inside one district playing each other in the league here, and they're going to take it real seriously. And if Nutella keeps playing like this, he might take Williams Montessori to the next level of fandom and epic levels here in Charlotte.
5 goals for Nutella in 4.5 minutes. Is a 6-3 Williams lead with 30 seconds remaining in game number 3. Williams looks like they will not allow themselves to get swept here in our first preseason game here, the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League. And you talk about the pressure. You talked about having that pressure on some of these student athletes being able to go out there and play in a competitive environment like this for the first time. But you also mentioned Wednesday night lights. And if that's what this is going to be, that's where Nutella on a save like that is going to have to learn how to work with that pressure and get himself in a groove. As this will be a Williams 6-3 win, they will stay alive right now.
That's exactly right. And if you're talking about Wednesday night lights and what does the world of Wednesday night lights look like? Well, think about what happens in something we know, Friday night lights. One, not only is everyone out there pumped up, ready, Friday night lights, our school. What the news is like, here's the 11 p.m. roundup. And all of a sudden, somebody threw the ball to somebody and they caught it. Imagine this, but it's clips, highlight reels of Nutella going bonkers on Olympic. Like, the potential this has been in my mind for almost 2 years now, and to see it come to life, even in this safe preseason environment, honestly, it's better that way because I'm getting to see it almost as like the front row seat in just a VIP setting where if things go bad, we're all okay. It's going real smooth, and I what do you guys think?
Kenneth?
I think it's amazing. I think so far what we've been seeing from these students has been really, really interesting to watch, especially the chemistry in the team. You saw that change there with Williams Montessori. At the beginning, first 2 games, it looked like they were still trying to find their rhythm, find their pace, but then all of a sudden, then came game 3, and that's really where they started to turn things on and Nutella started to go off. I'm interested to see how this next game is going to play because if Williams Montessori can keep the momentum up, well, Olympic may have to worry.
Olympic up 2-1.
Right now, we're going to have to see, is Olympic going to come back and shake that memory of that beatdown they just took and start over? Or are they going to come out here on tilt and Montessori and that bad start they had in the 2 games is going to be a memory that we forget?
Snor's played well defensively. Devine trying to do what he can to tear this ball up, and Natella's going to smack that out immediately. Cleared almost back out to midfield. Ginger Race relentless, though. He tries to go forward, and Snor will slap it away, too. So Williams playing aggressively on both sides of the ball. Snor, who's been on defense most of the time, going for a shot there. They get stopped by Devine. Nutella also trying to slide in here, but if you're Olympic, you know you just have to stop Nutella. 5 goals in that last game is what kept them alive.
And you cannot pack the corner like Olympic just did right there because all of a sudden, one player makes a mistake, you've got open net.
Oof.
And for Devine there, he didn't really know where to go. He's kind of stuck there. Nutella guy looking to take it all himself, but too many Olympic players for him to overcome. They're going to try to bring it back to the orange side of the field. And you did make a good point there. How will Olympic respond to that 6-3 game? I think the highest score tally we've seen so far in this best-of-5 series in this first preseason game. So at least at this point, if you're Olympic, you cannot let that game phase you. And for right now, it seems like it has not. Devine with a shot up high, saved by Grassi at the goal line.
Defense. Defense wins state championships, ladies and gentlemen.
Snor now looking on, trying to advance this, puts it back in the pocket. Devine decides to slap it up, and Ginger Race has been aggressive here in this game so far for Olympic. Nutella's been a little bit more silent. Devine in the air, that's going to be off right, though. Emnerado, we saw him play oh so well in games 1 and 2, a little bit silent, though, in these last 2 matches.
Silent but deadly.
Absolutely. Hey, that's all you need, right? That second part.
And sometimes it's good to not be the spotlight and still be a threat. But for right now, looks like Olympic have been able to slow the offensive prowess by Williams Montessori. There's Nutella God looking for the ball on the left side of the field, and that's a big demo there to Emnerado. That'll force Williams Montessori to pack the goal line with the 2 players they've got left. And Grass is going to be able to pick the ball up into the orange half. And for the moment, neither team can find that edge. They seem to be sort of seesawing their way, guys, around each side of the field, but nobody's been able to find the advantage. Maybe one there, but nobody there to get the ball. Snor clears it out.
Still playing around midfield. We are already over halfway through this game right here. We'll see what everyone's able to do as we got a demo near the goal line. Grassy can't put it away. Nutella can't get back to the ball either. Snore's going to have to let that fly on by. 2 minutes to go in what is an elimination match right here for Williams. Olympic with an opportunity to put this away 3-1. And Narado did not see a clear path to the ball, though. Grassy tried to clear it out. Nutella will, though.
And one thing you can't do here, Devin, is overcommit, double commit, have more than one player on this 3-man squad, or this 3-player squad, really go for the ball at the same time, because then all of a sudden you're just leaving that one player by themselves, and if you have a poor defensive play or the offense is just too strong, you're going to end up in a choke point, really. And right there, Devine almost found a way to the goal, hit it off of the backboard, and they'll try to scuffle for it once again. Grassy may be able to clear for it good, and he does. Can anybody meet the ball? To be Grassy himself again. Can he find a third touch? He does, but Narado kicks it out of the way.
Ginger Ace and Narado did a great job there standing up the Williams offense. And Narado going for a shot, sets up for Devine, and that goes off the side.
This is the defense that you want to see. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but at a minute left, this is about comms. This is about remaining calm and focused, but making sure everyone's in their positions, everyone knows where to be. You're not getting excited. You don't go on tilt for any reason and try anything.
How do you not get excited?
Yeah, but you have to at this point. You've got to stay focused just like that right there, because now with this defensive juggernaut face-off that we've seen, it's going to be the one who loses that focus, in my opinion.
Devine.
And right now you see it. Devine scores with 29 ticks on the clock to make Olympic sitting in the catbird seat.
And he was in the right place too,
from the
by the way.
backside.
Yeah, right in the right place at the right time. Not really the typical goal you'd expect, but it was enough to break the tie. And I was about to mention, guys, over the past couple of games, I think this might have been the most competitive, as they were locked, knotted at 0-0 for almost the entire game. And now in the final 20 seconds, Williams Montessori has to find the way to make it 1-1 with that goal from Devine.
Urgency up for Williams. Final 10 seconds. They have to find the back of the net, otherwise their day is done. That one's out the crossbar. Grassy gets it out of the way. And Narado looking for the dagger. They keep it on their side of the field. That might do it. They're going to try to keep the ball up, and it is sky high right now. Right place, right time. Ball still in the air. This match isn't over, and that will do it. Olympic had a scare there in game number 3, but they will take this series 3-1 in our first ever preseason, mind you, CMS Rocket League tournament game.
That was a lot. I hope these kids, I mean, what better way to start off the inaugural season ever in history for CMS, and in my opinion, in a top 20 size high school league and a top 20 size high school district system. Like, we might have just witnessed the first game ever that has occurred in a setting like that. So that was exactly what I was hoping for. Some drama, not, ups, downs on both sides. And now we're sitting in a spot where Olympics walking away high-fiving, but maybe they were the big dogs on campus, and they knew it, and they got a little scare there. And then Montessori's walking away, maybe licking their wounds a little bit, but understanding, hey, we can compete. We just went head-to-head there. And that, paired with the Wednesday night lights on Twitch, I believe is the recipe for a pressure cooker, paired with the professional coaches provided by Spin, the professional STEM coaches provided by Stiegler EdTech, our partners at the Carolina Panthers and the Charlotte FC. A lot of cool stuff.
So, Overlord, you talked about how this has been a process 2 years in the making. Take me a little bit deeper. What did it take to make this dream a reality, to bring it into the preseason now and what is soon to be the first ever season? What did that take?
Yeah, well, and we'll talk more about that in the weeks to come. But the short story is, I had a cup and a spoon, and I would go up to doors. I would, can you help us? Can you make this thing happen, please? And it was always more of a dream than a very specific, detailed plan on why it would make sense. I just knew it would be cool, and that's why ultimately we sit here now with the opportunity that is right before us, which is, sponsors, a partnership with CMS, STEM, and Esports, it all happening. It's really special.
And take me deeper into the kids, because this is, in essence, all for them. to have this opportunity to play against one another at a high level and be the focus of Charlotte and North Carolina overall. So whether these are seniors who are only going to be able to do this 1 year, freshmen who are on the sidelines right now watching as they get better at their craft as well, what do you want these students to take out of this opportunity?
Well, the beauty is it doesn't there's a lot of different people that can have a lot of different experiences with the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League. There are kids that are killers at Rocket League, absolutely cracked, and they're going to hone their careers, get better, have college scholarship opportunities. There's going to be those who suck today at esports, and there's plenty of them. We've seen them, and they're going to all of a sudden get better and realize it's great, right? There's going to be some that are actually going to realize, I want to be a caster. I want to be in production. Or there's going to be some that take that bridge over to the STEM side and realize, I like coding. I want to build my own games in the Unreal Engine. I want to build apps. I want to start my own company. So there's all that and more. And then there's going to be a whole group of other people, like the teachers, who have stepped up into these amazing roles as the champions for their schools, that are going to get more and more involved, and they're going to love it and grow it, and they're going to have a chance to get educational stipends for their work, a group that is overworked and underpaid, as we all know. So, and then there's the community. We're just going to have something freaking cool to watch and root for, and another thing as time goes on. And I as I look to our partners, like in the summer earlier, Coca-Cola, or now Charlotte FC and the Panthers, it's real simple to me that they understand they have great franchises and teams, and we love them. But the younger generation, they play more esports than they do probably go to these professional games today. And for them to have a connection in Rocket League and see, oh, I'm going to play the finals in Bank of America Stadium, and I'm going to potentially be rewarded and go watch the FC game, which is, essentially Rocket League, except humans instead of these little RC cars. All of a sudden, there's all these possibilities there. So I think that the potential is limitless. It's just we got to, it's just been a grind. It's like getting good at Rocket League. You're not just like a freaking grand champ overnight. You grind it out every single day. You get one step closer to the goal. And today, in this preseason Wednesday Night Lights, it's one small step for Charlotte in esports, but a giant leap for those of us who have been on a 2-year journey to bring this into reality.
And that was just match number 1. There's actually going to be still 5 more matches. We're going to broadcast 3 of those. Up next, Philip O'Barry and Hugh will take on each other. But our broadcast coming up here in just a couple of minutes, that's going to be Palisades Park and Ardrey Kell. So we still got plenty more on the way. And then also Providence versus Geringer is going to be after that.
You guys are going to have to learn. Yeah. If you guys are going to have to learn how to pronounce all these high school names, if we're going to be doing this. These are very hard names. Ardrey Kell, Huff. It's a lot of, but this is it. This is it, guys. We're going to do it together.
I appreciate that. We are going to do it together. We're going to be stuck with this because we are going to want to see exactly how this championship works out. You have all these different schools, all these different programs, and I think sometimes it's understated in high school esports entirely just how much these coaches are going to mean. Even if occasionally the students might know a little bit more than the coach about a certain game here or there, there's more to being a coach than just the X, Y's, and Z's of a sport, and that goes across all sort of platforms. It's the leadership. It's the teamwork. And being able to see how these coaches work with these athletes and students to build up a program, build up a team. We're going to see completely different teams in that championship in a couple months than what we're seeing today in the preseason.
Yeah, we haven't even begun to see who's going to stand out. I have some hunches based on some ranks and things like that, but we haven't, this is just starting. We've been doing this for years. And we go up to the, the Phoenix level and even our RLCS and stuff like that. And we see all, as you go up in the levels, you see more eyes on the Twitch. It's more exciting. The chat's going crazy. I think there's a potential for this to be large numbers that the world takes notice of. Like, what's going on Wednesday night, right? That's not our RLCS. And then all of a sudden, though, it's compounded into this geographic region. It's just going to be a different pressure cooker and a different incentive that all of a sudden you're going to see these kids trying things and taking it more serious than they ever have. And to your point, the coaches are going to not just provide that roadmap of how to get better, but that accountability, that kind of like a varsity high school wrestling coach does, that surrogate parent. Hey, did you do your homework? Can you play? That would be terrible, right? And it's just going to be this beautiful thing that'll evolve. And casting that in week 4 or 5, if we're at a point where like there are thousands of people watching and these kids are like absolutely going crazy and they're talking about it in school all day Wednesday, and then all of a sudden it's a thing, man, that could be special.
And Kenneth, I know you were pretty into Rocket League and you're far more talented than I am. What have you been seeing so far in this first match?
Oh, I'm still not as good as these guys, for sure. Definitely not as good as these high schools. I wish I could have been as good as them when I was back in high school. But I mean, I've seen a lot of really good play in Rocket League so far. And again, you know, we're gonna harp on it all night long. It's the preseason. You know, this is a chance for all these teams to learn how to play with each other, to learn how to play against other teams in their district, and then that's when the regular season starts, that's when they're really able to kick things off. But this is really the good starting point as to, all right, what do we need to work on as a team? What can we get better at? And what have we been doing well that we really want to enhance so that we can really get these teams on their knees and we can beat them over and over and over again and get a good record for the regular season and go for the championship. I'm just seeing a lot of high schoolers going at it, playing a lot of Rocket League and having a lot of fun. I think that's what it's all about. Learning, you know, having fun at the same time, and then, you know, potentially building a Rocket League esports career in the future. Who knows?
Because just like every other sport, not everyone's going to go pro. Not everyone necessarily is going to get a college scholarship, but you can take away more than just the game from your experience if you want to go and pursue other sort of industries or other sort of careers.
That's exactly right. And I think one of the unique things that will be different with next week from today in preseason is we're not even – we did a YTAC separate STEM competition earlier today, 4:30 to 5:30. Normally you will see, you know, Olympic versus Williams Montessori playing like we just did, but before or after that you'll see a quick summary of the finals of their STEM teams competing against each other. That's going to be a dimension that has not been seen before, and it's not going to be like my science fair thing was I painted a happy face on this model of the earth. It's going to be we played capture the flag from a cybersecurity perspective and attacked each other's different school sites. You know, it's like we built this tech to do this thing. We're talking about launching a satellite right now with our partners at Amazon, AWS. You know, like this is for real stuff. FR. Charlord, if you know what I'm talking over there. Back to production and yelling at our production squad. So it's going to be cool. It's going to be different. We're going to see what happens.
And that's all part of the STEM program that you get to have and are able to indulge these students and punch them into some sort of blender, really, at the end of the day, where it's not just them involved in esports. It's not just them involved on any sort of cyber side. It's everything and anything as we get ready for our very next game here. Palisades Park, Ardrey Kelly taking things on.
Ardrey Kell.
I said Kelly, didn't I?
Yeah. Don't worry, we're going to work together through this. Now, I think my hunch here is Ardrey Kell is going to come out and crush. I might be wrong. Well, it doesn't look like it.
That was a quick one there. Open nets, had a nice little shot there for the assist. This lucky devil, I'm going to call him because I can't see his name, able to put in the score.
I just call them quadruple boxes.
Quadruple?
Yeah.
Quad box.
Quad box, yes. I like that.
Quad box.
Quads.
So one of the things I'll be prepared for, this is a good thing about preseason for next week, is I'll be able to get with all the coaches after they've seen tonight and then worked with the players and really be able to get some player notes and have a little more insight into the storylines that are going to be most important. But I got a hunch that as we get some notes next week from Ardrey Kell, we're going to see one or two folks highly ranked that are just going to be forces to be reckoned with through the entire regular season.
Alrighty, and you see Ardrey Kell being able to put themselves forward, and Palisades Park, though, is going to be able to put it forward. TTV putting himself all the way across the court to put that ball in the net.
And you saw Quadbox there tried to go for it to intercept the ball, but just missed it by a hair. And then Lifton Yu cannot get to the ball in enough time on the corner. And already have a tied game in game 1. This ball going to float way to the blue side. It's going to stay at the goal line. Can Open Net Suck finish? Yes, he can. 2-1, Ardrey Kell.
I think he was okay with the open net on that side to make it a 2-1 ball game here, only a minute and 8 seconds into the game. So we play 5-minute matches here. Best of 5. So 5-5 right there, if you will. But these last for 5 minutes. We go all the way. We will play overtime. Sudden death rules. If we get there, CTV knocks in another goal. We got ourselves quite the haymakers being thrown back and forth early on. 2-2. Not even a minute and a half in.
Yeah, no, I was about to say. Yeah, minute and a half in, and we're already tied at 2-2, 4 goals total by both teams already. It seems like this game way more on the offensive side than we saw the first game between Olympic and Williams Montessori, as Lifton Yu would try a shot there, blocked off by Clubsu. It looks like Clubsu will bring it downfield. Open Net Suck tried to look for a defensive play, could not do it. Quadbox will find the ball, and Just Moneyo will at least try to get there, but just could not do it. But already more of a fast-paced nature here, Devin, in comparison to the first game in the first series. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we'll see if that changes the complexity of the series as a whole. But for right now, both teams have the offense dialed in.
Open Nets with the air dribble, just didn't have any buddies there on the other side of the field to be with them. They're actually able to keep this ball, though. Quadbox not able to go either. Just Money goes and intercepts that pass midair. Quadbox not done, though. There's the demo going 2-on-1, 3-on-1 really, and TTV clears it out.
You can try to find one there. There's Vet with a touch. Clubsu tried to respond. He couldn't do it. Just Moneyo looked for the ball, but he was way too late there. Has to rotate. And Open Net Suck will aim to look for a teammate in center field. And now here comes the attack by Palisades Park. It's going to get stopped for a moment. The bleeding will end. Clubsu with a shot saved by Open Nets.
Open Net slid in there. Came from underneath.
My guess right now, guys, is that what we're going to see as a theme in every one of these games is likely if there's one person on the pitch during every game that's even played live on Twitch with like a half dozen to a dozen people before, that would be like the over-under, right? So everyone's coming in here with a new set of nerves. We haven't even launched yet. I think we were at 60, 70, maybe even 80 people on Twitch simultaneously. So they're coming out there, and it's going to take them a while in the first game, maybe even in the second, to get those nerves settled. And I think you're seeing that here. They went crazy, the haymakers, back and forth to 2-2, and then all of a sudden they started playing a little bit of defense, settling down, maybe communicating a little bit more. And I think that's the trend we can continue watching. Watch out for the team who comes out in the first 2 minutes and like is totally settled playing defense and offense. Those are some killers that are ready to go at a different level on day one.
And even in our opening match that we saw Game 1 be oh so drastically different than especially Game 3 and then also Game 4. We're going to see this matchup evolve, and that's what's fun about being able to have a best-of-5 series. It's not one and done. You start to learn your opponent. You start to settle in on your roles that are going to help your team succeed. And essentially, all the dynamics can change in just 2 games or so and have a completely different match than you did. Like we're seeing here in match number 1, it's just Money can't find the net as Open Nets gets it plugged the other direction.
Yeah, it's definitely true, Devin. And one thing that I've noticed about Rocket League Best of Fives or even Best of Sevens is that because you have all those games on tap, even if the opposite team wins a game or two, you can find a way to swing the momentum in your direction. It's never over till it's over. How many times have we looked at reverse sweeps in many different types of series between all different types of teams? That's the luxury of having more than one game, is that sure, maybe one game didn't go your way, sure, maybe things could have been improved and the other team were able to stomp on you for a bit, but as soon as you can change the tide, get that momentum on your side, you could be virtually unstoppable to win the series. That's a beautiful demo there by Quadbox to Yeet. And it looks like the timer will count down to the final 5 seconds. Ball will touch the floor, and it is still not at a 2. We may have our first overtime, Devin, here tonight.
Sudden death overtime. It is an untimed play We go until somebody puts it into the back of the net. Quad box going after that ball. It gets poked away, though, by Just Money. He's all alone over on the orange side of the field. Veet's able to get that ball, but it's off left. Lines up nice center. Defense. Open Nets is able to get rid of that ball, though.
That's open net there, too. That's a goal, and that's game for Audrey Kell.
Open net suck was a fan of that open net.
Do not sleep on Audrey Kell. Even though that first minute and a half flurry of goals started, everyone settled down. They got to work, and then all of a sudden you saw that first game go into OT, and Audrey Kell rise like the cream rises to the top. They rose right up there and showed us what they're made of, even in these early days.
So Audrey Kell is able to take away match number 1. This is a best of 5, though, so we are going to see everyone regroup here. And as we saw in our first set of matches, you can have substitutions. It depends on how many players you have on your team, how you want to change things up, depending on exactly how advanced you get. You can also have different schemes for different players in different sorts of positions. I mean, I know Rocket League is just 3-on-3, but you look at 11-on-11 football, you look at, even 7-on-7 football and other forms of soccer. You can have those different plays set in with different athletes, and here in Rocket League in a best of 5, you can go in, make those substitutions, and give the other team a different scheme that they have to look at.
I love that. I think that's something to watch for the regular season for sure. And that's where the coaches come in, right? If football was just about the players and Friday Night Lights, well, there wouldn't be anything such thing as coaches, but calling the plays, knowing when to kick versus when to punt versus when to go for it. These are the calls. And as everyone gets more and more sophisticated and the pressure mounts, these calls make all the difference.
We are going to see everything start to change once we get into the regular season. Be here on Wednesday Night Lights for CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League as we get going here for that 6 weeks regular season into the playoffs and eventually for our first ever CMS champion later on a couple of months down the road. And as we have all these different teams, potentially different schemes, we talk about all the great things that this brings. There are negatives though, right? For instance, because we're broadcasting this, everything's on tape. Everything's on tape. You can go back and watch the matches from before and go, hey, I need to write some notes down, as opposed to if this was a regular high school esports league, you play one-on-one. Unlike football, there's no film. Here, you're going to get to go back and get to watch and get to prep a little bit for 7 days later.
Yeah, that's definitely true. I mean, you can kind of bask in the victory if you had it and then just look at the defeat if that ended up your way. But again, preseason, you look at the film, you say, all right, maybe this wasn't the best or maybe this was the best for us. But at the end of the day, let's fix it. Let's try and get ready for the actual regular season in week number 1. One thing I wanted to point out, though, about that first game between Palisades Park and RGK, I think that might be the most even we've seen two teams all night long. I know we had the first series between Olympic and Williams Montessori. That felt like it kept swinging left to right, left to right, left to right between both teams. This one between Palisades and RGK, it seemed more even. It felt like both sides were really able to facilitate the ball well. A lot of them had some offensive power. The defense wasn't really there to start. They started to kick in, though. But it looks like we may have ourselves a neck-and-neck series. We had a gentleman's sweep somehow with Olympic and Williams Montessori. I think we may see a full-on Game 5 series between these two teams.
Well, and one thing I think is really wild. Hey, production. How many people did Audrey Kell have sign up to compete on their team versus the other team? It was a lot, right? I mean, Audrey Kell had like dozens of kids come, and then they had to figure out who was going to come to the top of the list versus the other school, like, wasn't many at all. So it's awesome to see, even despite that kind of mismatch and misbalance, that we're seeing such a competitive match like that. That's pretty cool.
And not always the biggest football team wins on Friday Night Lights, right? Too many variables. Too many variables.
No, but they
not always the deepest
They
either.
likely do, though. If you're like that, maybe likely. That's one. Like if you have the one rock star quarterback who's going, sure, all right, I got it. But like usually it's like the school with like 4,000 kids in it, and everyone's there, and they got the big stadium, and there's all the boosters. Like they're gonna field a competitive team every single time. And the one school that's like, we have to do it in the grass field out back, and then we just have 11 people, right? the fact that they could compete and go head-to-head like that, I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but this is where esports can level playing fields in so many ways.
Exactly. Not to mention when it comes down to football, you have to have the right field and turf to practice on during the right weather conditions, depending on what country you're in or which state you're in, because of heat, because of snow, because of X, Y, Z. You got an internet connection, you can practice. That's as simple as it is sometimes, and you can get better. You can go and play with other teams across the world, other random users, and get better at finding where you fit in on a team, because every role for every match can be different.
Practice? You talking about practice?
Oh, he's pulling that.
Yes, Allen Iverson, practice. That's how you get better. And these students, and we talked about with the coaches too. You're going to have these coaches and players go and practice with one another to get better. I mean, every day after school, you have the opportunity to go and get better with your teammates. We talked about earlier with substitutions and being able to put those different kinds of aspects and schemes onto the pitch. There's all these different opportunities when you look into the realm of esports to get better at a given craft. And, of course, there's different states where Smash Bros. Is a big deal. You have other games that you can play as well. So we talk about, like, multi-varsity sport athletes in your typical sports. You can do the same in esports, too.
Yeah, but the one thing about Rocket League, I think that makes it very unique in a way in the esports realm is that unlike, let's say, League of Legends or like a Valorant or any other type of esport, the larger one, CSGO as well, they don't really operate like a real sport. Rocket League, yes, it's a fantasy. There's cars flying all over the place. We don't have that in real life. I wish we did, but we don't have that in real life. But it is one of the closest esports to an actual sport in that case. So, there's a lot of things that you can carry over from real life sports like real life soccer into a game like Rocket League. Play different formations, have a team play a certain way, have the coaches look up the ways in which teams operate rotation-wise, and look at how aggressive they are at the ball, possession, all that stuff, and all the stats. So it's really interesting to see that mix between an esport like Rocket League and how it connects to real-life sports as this second game between Palisades Park and RGKL starts up. RGKL, remember, that big win in game number 1. We'll see if they can hold on to it.
And it was because of that man right there. Open net suck, had an open net, and now Quad Box will have first blood. RGKL is going to put themselves out front in game number 2 of this series.
It was a nice shot there by Quad Box. Just found the ball at the right place. Ended up in the corner. And it was just a simple touch. Palisades didn't really have a guy there to block the ball off. Here comes Club Sue up the wall. Trying to aerial it to Just Money. A nice passing play, but it gets intercepted. And Club Sue will try to go for his own, but can't do it. And Kill Him K will have to look for the ball, but he's going to get bumped out of the way. Quad Box looking to solo this one. Over 1, over 2, and it falls just wide to the left.
Teammates now flocking to help.
I believe Palisades is actually a really new school, right? This is one of our newest CMS schools, and I believe they had a teacher, somebody in the faculty that was really pushing behind this, and a couple kids that really wanted to do it. So I'm real excited to see a new school out here pushing so hard, pushing the envelope like this.
And obviously they played well in match number 1, putting that into sudden death overtime, and now they're down 1-0. We'll see if they're able to bounce back and be able to put some more pressure here on AK and get themselves back into this game.
Yeah, and still really early on. I know we had a 2-2 score by the time we were, 3 minutes and 45 seconds left in the game. This time it's a little different. This time it seems like the goal scoring has slowed down a tad, but you can't quite count out Palisades Park out of this just yet, although that was dangerous. The ball went right to the center of the goal. Luckily, all 3 players were there to hold the ball steady, but Quad Box will have a shot of his own. It goes to the left, blocked by Just Money O.
Palisades.
Great pressure.
Trying their best.
Well, Palisades has kept everyone. I mean, you talked about those teams who come out right out of the gate in the first 2 minutes and play defense. Palisades Park has been able to put their numbers back and have 3 at the net, and that has disallowed any opportunity here for RGKL to get themselves into the back of the net. And right there off that squeeze, now all of a sudden, Palisades Park has the ball in their area. Almost an own goal. That was dangerous. Oh, no. I'm sorry, Kilmke got me a little bit confused. Got the orange on there.
we have some of the different paints there. I also noticed that in the first game between these two, I saw a lot of Honda Civics being used. Of course, in Rocket League, you can use different types of cars. I know there's different hitboxes as well. You look at the Octane hitbox, which is usually the most common by many of the pros. It seems to be the OG car in Rocket League. I do see one of them with a Dominus hitbox, though. I can't find out. Actually, it's Lifton Yu. He changed from a Honda Civic in the first game to a Dominus in the second. And that's something also that we'll be talking about over the course of this series and over the league entirely, Devin, is the fact that teams can make substitutions, number one, with different players and have different styles of play, but also have different hitboxes with the cars they choose. There's a wide variety of cars you can pick to play with in Rocket League, all different types of hitboxes. They all play differently, so it's just interesting to see how each player and each team tries to work around that as well to their advantage.
So close. So many opportunities they've just been banging away at, and they haven't fallen. But right now, Palisades may just be out of luck. But then again, $1.07 on the clock is an eternity in Rocket League.
Ardre Kell, for the first time, has been able to flip the field, take a shot on goal for quite a while. Down to the final 60 seconds here. Open Nets, who played oh so well in match number one, trying to get the defense on, get this ball back beyond midfield.
Yeah, but they're always met by somebody from Ardre Kell. It looks like Justin Monio is going to look to reset it. He's going to flip it up. He'll get it over one. But quad box there to save the day and chop off some time. This is good play here by Ardre Kell. They're not necessarily letting Palisades Park do whatever they want on offense. They seem to be finding the ball at the right time, and they're bleeding off more of the shot clock. With 25 seconds left in this second game, it looks like Ardre Kell might be able to hold on. But again, it's still only one goal. Still a lot can happen.
Just Mine did a great job just being a roadblock, trying to keep this ball over on the opposing side of the field. Quadbox with a shot on goal, and Just Money skies up and puts it the other direction. Final seconds here, 5 to go. Ball stuck at midfield. Quadbox trying to move it forward. There's the one. Got to keep it off the pitch. Ball still up, an opportunity for Palisades Park, and not going to get there in time. Ardre Kell is going to be able to take match number 2 in this series. They take a 2-0 lead. But boy, both games, oh so tight for both teams. But when you get to go up 2-0 with a difference of a 1-point deficit in both of those games, you get quite a good bit of momentum trying to make this sweep happen.
You see quad box out there crushing. I mean, it was really, really nice. I wonder y'all's take, and this is the fun part in preseason as you kind of figure out what's going to happen in the regular season. So you've seen Ardre Kell, and again, competitive match so far, not even over. Who would you think would win if you put them alongside Olympic in that last game?
Oh, wow, that's a tough question. That's really tough. I do like Olympic. I did like them a lot watching them in that first match against Williams Montessori. I think maybe the swings of momentum didn't go their way, so I think in the case from what we've seen with Ardre Kell, they've been able to kind of hold for it a little more. They've been able to stop the fluctuations in gameplay. It's been more so on their side, and they've kept it that way. But I don't know. I think Olympic has a lot of offensive firepower. They could put goals on the board. Ardre Kell has got a maximum of, 2 goals in that first game, then the one in this second. So, I mean, I think it would be a really tough match. I think Olympic's offensive strength, though, maybe a little too much. But at the end of the day, that's a tough question. You put me on the spot there. I'm not going to lie.
And a lot of it is going to depend on the flow and rhythm of the game, because I think that what we just saw was the first time where really it was a game of waves going back and forth. You had a bunch of shots on goal on one side, then it went to the other side as well. And now Palisades Park is just doing what they can to not get swept. They want to keep this game going for as long as they can. Almost got an opening score there off of open net suck, but was unable to continue moving on there. TTV now beyond midfield. Just Money pokes it forward. They get into the corner.
Yeah, that would have been an immediate double tap goal there in the first 5 or so seconds of game 3. And there's Lipton Yu up in the air. Klubsu will meet it down low. There's Quadbox with a response. He'll hit it to the center. But just an easy save there for Just Monio. Not a shot that really poses any danger to Palisades Park. But I do want to see the shift in possession control. It felt like Ardre Kell were really able to control possession of the ball as Just Monio flicks it off to the orange side of the half. And Killam K will look to get there in the corner. But Palisades really could not control the ball all too much. They had some shots near the end of that second game, but RGK felt like they could really hold things through. And we'll see if that all ends up changing. For right now, seems to be rather even, although this ball is going to get dangerous. Quadbox had a shot potentially, but Just Money O keeps it stable, and Palisades with a shot at goal this time through, and he will get one.
Great find off the rebound, and Just Money puts it in the back of the net for Palisades Park's first lead, I think, of this match.
A beautiful shot there by Just Money O. And we saw this somewhat in the first matchup between Olympic and Williams Montessori in one of the goals, where had the opening shot, got blocked off by a defensive player, but then they were still there, and that was a pitch that almost could have gotten a goal for Killam K. Would have made it a 2-2 ball game, but it stays 1-0 for now, and Audrey Kell escapes a bullet.
Open Nets controlling it in the air. Just Money goes up and gets the ball. Quad Box says no. Open Nets can't quite get back to it. Killam K now trying to advance this ball forward, but Quad Box again sends it the other side of the field.
Oh, that's a beautiful bump there as well by Just Money O. Found the orange player in the air and said, nah, you ain't getting this one. And there's another bump there by Club Sue. We haven't seen much, though, Devin. The physicality take over. You also wonder that as well. Demos and bumps are very pivotal in these types of situations, because you can easily get a defensive player out of the play. You can take them out of the game entirely, and Just Money O finds a way to pinch it in and make it 2-0 for Palisades Park.
2 goals on 3 shots now for Just Money, trying to keep Palisades Park alive in this best-of-5 matchup against Ardrikel, and now they have an opportunity to continue to add to their lead just over 2 minutes down here in this game. Just Money O got the first touch there as well.
You got to look for Just Money O here. He's definitely caught a little bit of fire in the first half of this third game. I think the ball's going to clear. There was almost open net for Just Money O. There's Lifton You with a shot. Killam K there at the last second to save.
Ball stuck in the corner. Just Money advances it over 2 defenders, but Lifton You is just there in time to get that ball. TTV now with an opportunity, unable to center that ball up as it goes over the uprights. Just Money now having to chase here, going back the other direction.
And now Palisades are starting to panic a little bit. This is where RGK have stepped up the offense. They need a goal on the board desperately, at least with 2 minutes to play, if they want to at least have a shot at winning Game 3 and making this a full-on sweep in this best-of-5. Just Money O going to control the ball. There's Open Net Suck with a retaliation. But there's really nothing right now that RGK can do to answer the 2 goals from Palisades Park. Just Money O can try all that he can, but he's got no boost.
Quad Box with the stop, trying to give to Open Net Sucks to move it forward. Missed ball there by Killam K. TTV able to get a hold of it, though, get it back towards midfield. Quad Box, though, able to jump up and in the air, able to bring it back into the side of Palisades Park. Just Money off the back wall, set up and knocked down by Killam K. 3-0 game with 1:17 to go.
Palisade. I saw that coming right there. Quad Box just does a, can't quite get in front of it. And those Dragons flying.
3-0, and it looks like with 77 seconds to go, Palisades Park is going to have an opportunity to continue this series to move forward. Not going to allow a sweep, it looks like. But now Ardrikel's trying to put themselves into the pressure situation a bit. Keep this ball over on the Palisades Park side.
This is the point
maybe
where
get some life here.
If you're Ardrikel, you just need to put one in the goal so you enter the next game not just mentally completely downtrodden and on tilt. You've got to do something to get your confidence levels back up. Playing basic, comms, understanding, playing your roles and positions. That's where they got to get back to. Right now, I feel like they're flailing and they're not playing the mental game.
Oh, off the crossbar, Just Money skied up, unable to finish. Off the rebound, TTV can't convert either. AK try to move forward. Just Money aggressive, does not want to allow that ball to get back to midfield. Lifton You now trying to airball this out.
And it looks to be at this point in the game 3-0 with 15 seconds left. Ardrikel maybe can mount a comeback, but I think if you're them, you're already looking towards that next game and just say, let's get this one out of our minds. Let's head for the next one. This is just them catching fire for a bit, but let's stop the bleeding, and Just Money O makes it a hat trick here in this third game.
And this is going to be the largest margin of victory in the 3 games that we played so far. We had a sudden death victory in game 1. It was just a 1-point game in game number 2. Palisades Park down 2-0, impressive with a 4-0 victory. Some final demos, final stats. Ball's still up. Obviously, you can't score 4 points in 1 possession, but that will do it. Palisades Park with a statement victory there. Not just skimming by and keeping this match alive, but a dominant 4-0 win. They're trying to show right here that they're going to have the ability to take this to 5.
Yeah,
I saw it go. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I really think that this is the kind of thing that a school like Palisades needs, right? If you had just gone through and gotten wiped out right there, you would have left. Hopefully you tried hard, but you'd been like, "Wow, we're not up for it." To be able to come out and to get beaten the way they did in tough matches before, and then come in there and just dominate with the fundamentals, like that gives them and anyone else the confidence they need to, hey, I can play in this league, and that's what this is all about.
Yeah, it's a great point there, Overlord. And one thing, though, I also want to point there, kind of on the opposite side of that is, while, yes, Palisades Park got this 4-0 victory here in the third game, they avoid a full sweep. If there's anything that trends tell us, and trends by, I mean, the first matchup that we had between Olympics and William Montessori, there was one game won by the other team by Williams Montessori, but then Olympic were able to come back in that game. So Palisades, now they have to change the tide. They have to make the tables turn. They can't just fall in the same place that Williams Montessori did. They need to find a way to add more life into what was a beautiful Game 3 played by all of them, and then get themselves back in and make it a Game 5 series.
And this is just preseason still. We got the actual season to go, and these guys are trying to put everything out on the line to go out and make statements. No one's thinking about the playoffs yet. No one's thinking about the regular season yet. It's playing right now and trying to put yourself up on the scoreboard.
Exactly.
Looks like we might start already here in this next game.
I am so excited to see it. But gentlemen, I'm gonna leave you to it. I'll be watching on Twitch with everybody else for the rest of this evening. But remember, preseason, this was just an appetizer. Next week, Wednesday night lights of the regular season starts. And I can't wait to be sitting here having some storylines to cast it with you, gentlemen. Have yourselves a night. I'll be watching.
Overlord, great to have you. Thanks for joining us as we continue here in Palisades Park. Is continuing the momentum, a 2-0 lead with only 24 seconds into this match. They're down 2-1. An opportunity to get themselves to even this out and go into a 5th set.
Yeah, picked up right where they left off, Devin, and I was surprised to see the opening goal come so early and then a second goal to follow. It looked like Just Money O has really come to life after that second game. And look at the switch again. More card changes. Look at Lifting You this time with another Civic. Usually it had the Octane there. Well, I had the Civic in the first game. It had the Octane in the second. All of them still have similar hitboxes, but in the case, Lifting You going to change the wardrobe a little bit. And there's a demo there by Palisades Park. If you're RG Kell, you need to stop this, and you need to stop it now, because like I said, you can swing the momentum in your direction so fast. And for Palisades Park, that has happened. Ball is going to drop right on the orange side of the field. Clubsuit with a tap. Not going to be enough to find a teammate, though. And Just Money O is going to find a response. He's going to make it 3-0.
Second goal of the game for Just Money, and he's making it rain with a 3-0 lead. Not even a minute and a half into this 4th game. Palisades Park's threatening to send this into Game 5.
This is a statement game for Palisades Park. They said, all right, we've won one game, but we are going to avoid a full-on gentleman sweep. Lifting You, a dangerous ball put there as Killam K went for the attack 100%. He's going to look for it again, but there's nobody at the goal line on the blue side. Luckily for Palisades Park, no RG Kell players were there to further propel the ball to make it a 3-1 game. And they escape Calamity for a moment. There's Killam K on the far side of the field. He'll get a passing play by Clubsu. Clusu's going to go for the air. We can't quite do it. Quadbox going to look to take it all by himself down the field, and it won't be a goal, though. He'll take it to the corner.
Lifting you, bounces it out of the corner, centers up, open net, strikes, and is going to be off to the right, sent the other direction by Killenham K. Quad box stuck in the corner, gets sent away by TTV. Taking a view from Lifting you, watching that ball in the corner, you have to figure out where you need to set yourself. It's Just Money's the only one inside of the box, able to make the stop there. So a 3-0 Palisades Park lead, almost halfway through this match.
And Palisades, we've seen a lot of the good rotational plays by them as Open Nets tried to air dribble that, and Lifting you had the setup, and he made it happen with his first goal of the game, making it 3-1 for Ardrey-Kell. But I was going to say there was a lot of solid rotation by Palisades Park on the defensive end. Yeah, there was that one little snafu where they had an open net, but they did a solid job so far of playing rotation on defense. That time, there's a little bit of a weak spot, and Ardrey-Kell made the most of it.
Yeah, and the match isn't over yet. It was a great start from Palisades Park, but if Ardrey-Kell can figure out how to continue to score this ball and convert goals, they can make up a two-goal gap pretty easily as they continue to put pressure on the goal box. Can't score that time. Just Money puts it beyond center field now. Skied it over almost everyone on the defense, and Open Net Sucks is able to get there just in time to keep that from scoring a goal.
Yeah, it felt like when Ardrey-Kell were building up momentum, Palisades Park came back with their own, and Just Money O could have added another goal to make it a 3-goal lead. Open Net Suck will find it on the bottom and on the ground. But I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Ardrey-Kell, though. But the time may not be of the essence, at least for them, because Palisades Park have held up defensively. And if you're Ardrey-Kell, you really need these goals, or else you're just going to have to go to Game 5, and the momentum is really isn't going to go your way. And again, just like Overlord said, it's going to feel defeated a little bit, but here's a bit of life, a bit of hope. Ardrey-Kell make it 3-2 on behalf of Open Nets.
Open Net skies up. It goes off the crossbar and has that positive bounce. 1-point game, 1:22 to go in game number 4. If Ardrey-Kell is able to win this game, they will take home the match. Palisades Parks can continue to hold on to this lead. We will go into game number 5 for this preseason matchup as Just Money is able to find that leading pass and put it into the back of the net. TTV with a point pass over off the wall. Just Money converts on the other end.
I mean, you know the best way to respond to a goal is to get a goal yourself and then extend the lead again. Had a 1 goal there with 1:13 left, and then Just Money O said, all right, I'm just going to take it myself. But here comes Quadbox with an answer of his own, 4-3.
Ardrey-Kell is able to score, and this will again put it back to a 1-goal lead for Palisades Park, and that one goes right into the lower 90 for Quadbox. We still got a game. Just over a minute remaining here. Palisades Park doing what they can to hold on to this 1-goal lead.
And you got to see how you fit Quadbox in there, because it seems like he's been one of the better goal scorers on this Ardrey-Kell team, but they're packing the corner. That may not be a good sign, especially if Palisades Park can flick it back to the end. Quadbox finds it in the air and knocks it in. We've got a tie game, 52 seconds remaining.
And that will even us up. Can Ardrey-Kell move forward and get themselves a victory here to end this match? We saw the first game go into sudden death overtime, 52 seconds to go. Do we see it again, or does someone have another answer on board?
I have to see if you're Ardrey-Kell, you need Quadbox. But both of them are going to commit at the same time. That's dangerous. Just Money O would deflect it off into the midfield. And Open Net Suck will go for this defensively. Just Money O off the backboard. Double tap. 5-4.
Palisades Park puts themselves back up front with 31 seconds to go. And Just Money has been an all-star here, making it rain in game number 4.
That was
still
beautiful
anyone's
there by
game,
Just
though.
Money O. Yeah, that was beautiful there. That's just a gorgeous solo play. Now the question is, can they do it again, or can Ardrey-Kell even this up again with 20 seconds left in this game? Lifted you a shot, but it's blocked off.
Ball still in Palisades Park territory. Final 10 seconds. Can Ardrey Kell take advantage, or are we going to game number 5? It's gone beyond midfield again. Closing seconds. Here we are, and it's going to hit the turf. Palisades Park forces a game number 5, and we are going into our own version of sudden death overtime, where we are going to have ourselves, just like normal, this isn't like volleyball where we're going to change up the rules of the set. We're going 5 minutes. The winner of this game takes home the victory, Kenneth. And similar to what we saw in our first matchup, but this is quite a bit different. We have seen the momentum swap completely. 2 straight wins on one side, 2 straight wins on the other side, and now you are going to have to put yourself out there and get this win. We're either going to have a comeback here after winning the first 2 or going 3 in a row on the back end, both of which are going to be very impressive.
Yeah, reverse sweep on the line here for Palisades Park if they can make it happen. But I said it before we started. This looked like it was going to be a 5-game series. And here we are, game 5, tie between both of them. But I do think there is some danger, though, on the side of not necessarily Palisades Park, but on the other side of that, for all of those guys there, it looks like there's a lot of danger for Ardrey Kell there because they had so much momentum to start. Felt like their team was on rails. They could really get their passing plays in, get a lot of shots on goal. And while, yes, they scored some goals and almost came back in it completely this game, Palisades Park were able to hold them through it, and that may be the difference in Game 5. But again, it's a 5-minute showdown, 5-minute demolition for who can take this first game of the preseason and have a little bit of bragging rights going into Week 1.
And of course, I don't think that there's anything better than having the circumstances of a winner-take-all game to get you ready for that regular season. It's all or nothing right here to go and take home this preseason victory. And remember, Palisades Park gained all their momentum from that 3-0 victory in game number 4, or game number 3, excuse me, parlayed that into moving into a 5th game. Lifting You and TTV go after the opening kickoff. Quad Box is able to airmail it, and right off the tip of the nose, is not going to score. Though. Just Money kicks out of the net.
Just Money has been offensive. It felt like all series long. And he just showed he could play some massive defense there. Avoided an opening goal the first 20 seconds of the game by Ardrey Kell. But there's nobody at the net. It was open. The ball doesn't get hit. Lifting You with a shot off the backboard and a score.
Tremendous rebound off the back wall and Lifting You with a loud goal to open up game number 5 of this series. 1-0 Ardrey Kell lead.
I like that they're getting Lifting You now more in this offensive rotation because just like Quad Box, he can score goals of his own with ferocity. As open necks suck. We'll find a way up to the left corner, still in the blue half. And there's Just Money with a response here in the corner. We'll see if this game is just as even as, let's say, the first or even the last one. There's Kill'em K, but again, they're packing the corner. That's not going to be a good look. And Lifting You will tap the ball up high. He'll go to over 1. The ball's going to trickle to the goal line. And Lifting You gets credited with the goal, 2-0.
You don't always get that. Here's Lifting You's last touch off the sidewall, and it gets ping-balled around. No one is on their wheels to go and get that save. We haven't seen this in the last 2 games. Ardrey Kell with a 2-0 lead within the first 60 seconds.
Yeah, this is a big game so far for Ardrey Kell. And just want to avoid that reverse sweep as Klovsu will find it up in the air, but it's deflected off. Just Money will look for a setup off the wall, maybe find a center teammate, or actually just go for his own. It's going to go wide to the right off the post. And there's nobody at the goal line for Palisades Park. That may be one of their biggest weaknesses at points. Their rotation seems to be decent, but sometimes they just hack that orange side of the half a little too hard. And then it leads to an open net. One mishap can result in another goal. Just Money going to look to take it all by himself, but cannot quite do it. And Ardrey Kell will hold the ball at midfield for now.
Kill'em K went for that goal. Now it spreads beyond midfield. Quad Box with the demo hunting that ball down. Just Money, though, is going to send it the other way. Right into the hands of Lifting You, is able to tip that ball as they were trying to advance it forward. 3:10 to go in this best of 5 game number 5. Winner take all in the preseason. Top corner gets rejected by Kill'em K.
And here's Klovsu. He gets over 1. That was Quad Box there that went all the way by. But couldn't hold possession of the ball. That's a beautiful touch by open net. Suck. but it's a little wide and could have made it a 3-0 ball game as Quadbox looked for the flip reset and couldn't do it off the top of the roof.
Open nets, trying to find that side. TTV with the stop. It's still sitting
boy.
shallowly right in
There's
front of the
nobody
net,
there.
and Open Net Sucks take advantage. 3-0 game. Ardre Kell with the big opening half of this ball game.
Oh, and that's a mistake you can't make, Devin. If you're Palisades Park, you're down 2-0, and then everybody misses the ball as it's lining up to the goal. And all it needed was just one more tap, and it was Open Net Suck who found it. There's a sky-high move by Quadbox off of the top. And it's gotten intense for Palisades Park defensively. It's just they need that offensive spark. There's still time. 2 minutes and 15 left. So a lot can go in this game as Just Money O will look to reset on his own half. But Ardre Kell
Open Net Suck off the roof.
Firepower.
So Just Money tries to make the stop here, bounces off his head, and Open Net Stuck is able to jump in and put that ball into the net. 4-0, massive momentum swing than we have seen in these past 2 games.
And I'm not sure, Devin, if this lead is going to be able to come back on. If they can come back on this for Palisades Park. There's Open Net's Suck up at the top. There's Clubsuit looking for it all by himself off the corner. That may be a good setup for a teammate. There's going to be no one there. Actually, it was almost a goal. Dangerous play. Open Net Suck finds a way to clear it out. And they'll stop the bleeding and avoid Palisades Park to get their first goal of the game. And again, they double commit on that corner. I think Palisades needs to really work on their rotations, make sure at least one player is at their goal line at all costs, because it's allowing Ardre Kell to get goal after goal after goal. And as Ardre Kell continues to bleed off more time, Devin, it's only making the situation more tough for the blue half.
Just Money from the top rope goes off the crossbar, trying to score for the first time for Palisades Park. Not going to be able to convert, though. TTV can't keep it in control either, just trying to bounce off the corner and back beyond midfield.
And there's Clubsu there, lifting you with a hit. And again, all Ardre Kell needs to do really is just waste all this time. Let the ball roll, let the ball fly, just keep hitting the ball, keep the pressure up. And this game should be sealed, and the series should be sealed as well. Just Money O looking for something on the offensive end. He's going to knock it off the corner, lifting you with a save. Open Net Suck will try to bring it back downfield. Some physicality played by Palisades Park. But I think, Devin, at this stage of the game, Game 5 will be decided in the favor of Ardre Kell, despite that close call.
And Just Money trying to do whatever he can to convert into a goal, but has been rejected on every attempt to bring that ball downfield and into the net. Just Money still trying, but it is a 4-0 lead. Ardre Kell was able to put themselves together here in this final group after winning the first 2 games, lost the next 2. They come together, regroup, and put together a dominating Game 5 performance as the clock winds down. There's a little tap that's going to be off left, though. Clock will slither on to a creeping 0. And Ardre Kell takes care of business in game number 5 to take the victory here in our second preseason match of CMS Rocket League, part of CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League. And as we mentioned in the past, this is just the regular season. So we have a lot more coming up for you guys in the coming weeks. But for now, Kenneth, this preseason game is showing just exactly what these teams are made out of and a little bit of a preview of what we are going to see this season from these guys.
Yeah,
and
that's
gals.
definitely true. Yeah, and for these players, you know, this is a good start. It's a nice warm-up there. You get to compete against the other teams in the district, and you get a feel for not only how you play with your teammates, but what your style is on that team. We saw from guys like Just Money O, from Quadbox, from Lifting You, even from Open Net Suck. Near the end of that series, you get to see what kind of roles they play and how they're able to efficiently get the ball in net, be a scorer, or just get their teammates involved and make plays to keep control of the game and keep control of the series. I do give credit, though, to Palisades Park. They almost made a reverse sweep happen, and it could have been the first and maybe only reverse sweep we would have had here tonight. Unfortunately, they came up just short, but I think a lot of strength shown by Palisades, but I think an even stronger performance by Ardre Kell to keep it composed and to easily take that last game.
And Kenneth, we are just halfway. halfway today.
That's
We
true.
had 2 matches so far, 2 series. We still got 2 more to go. Up next here in the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League, Providence versus Garniger. So we still have plenty more on the way. East Mech and South Mech will also take each other on here on the broadcast side of things after that. So we still have quite a few matches to go through to see a little bit more about what we are going to experience in the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League once we get the regular season kicking next week for our 6-week season and heading into the postseason. Glad to have everybody here on Podium Esports as we check out some high schoolers playing like this in Rocket League. Excited to have some esports here on Podium Esports. And Kenneth, I think that when we look at who we have coming up next, we have to start to consider, when it comes down to these different teams, who is going to do what. We've already seen some tremendous matches in terms of just playing closely. We haven't had anyone get swept yet, and we have had some very competitive games, and it makes you wonder, once we start to intermingle these teams into the regular season, are we going to continue to see this kind of competitiveness, or who is going to set themselves up to surpass everyone else and put them on another level as we go into the playoffs?
Well, I think, Devin, over the first 2 matches that we've seen, I think the competitiveness is going to be there. I don't want to see a sweep at all tonight. I want to see game 5s all the way through. I know that's probably not realistic at all. But still, I mean, it shows a lot of the closeness between these teams. And I figure that once we get Philip O'Berry versus Huff in just a little bit, and even when we get to Providence and Garinger, when we get to the Mechs, the Battle of the Mechs East and South, and then Charlotte Engineering versus Hopewell to end off tonight on Podium Esports, we're going to see all of those games have some sort of a back and forth method, even if it's a 4-game series, or maybe if it ends up in a game 5, or maybe if it ends up in maybe not a sweep, hopefully not a sweep, but maybe in a sweep. I still think the competitiveness is so high, and if it's going to be this high in preseason, I think in the regular season it's only going to get crazier. We're going to see closer games, closer fights, and then for the title, it's just going to be for all the marbles.
Yeah, just wait until we get into the season where it's actually going to matter, where those records and those wins and losses are going to equal where you sit in the postseason tournament. So there's a lot to fight for in this inaugural CMS championship for Rocket League. So we will see exactly how we get to see these teams move forward, how they are going to grow together, and who is going to set themselves apart and become the first ever CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League Rocket League champions when it's all said and done. Of course, that's still going to be a couple months away. We're going to be able to get to see some tremendous high school esports, though, as we move on forward and get ourselves who is going to be the champion for the first time. These are all high schools based in the Charlotte area. These are all people who may even know each other. I mean, I know that I didn't necessarily know all of my high schoolers across the district that I went to in high school. But this is where high school rivalries are born from, either growing up with friends and going to different high schools. That's how a rivalry starts. Or from just the fraternity and sorority of having esports in a very tight high school community, and you get to know your opponents. These guys are going to face one another for the next 6 weeks. You're going to get to know each other a little bit more virtually and maybe even in person. So this is going to add into the kind of rivalry, the kind of want to win that we see in some of the real-world sports at the high school athletics level, too.
That's a great thing, but what it also does, even with the rivalries and the games played against each other, is that you're finding yourself in a community of other people who play Rocket League. And sometimes, as a high schooler, even as a college student myself, you know, I like to find the people who are into the same things as me. And if I like Rocket League, I want to find other people and talk to other people that play the game too, because you're building a community of gamers that have fun with the game. You can get along on that shared interest, and then you just make more friends from there. And I've also seen people in high school as well, Devin, that end up in the same college. So, I mean, maybe they have a rivalry in this high school setting. They go to college, they play together in Rocket League, who knows? But, I mean, that's just a great thing about this esports landscape, especially in this game, is that the community is immense. The community is fun to be around. And for these high school kids, they're playing against each other, but they're also, you know, getting to know the other guys and being able to play games against each other. They get to have fun. And even on their off time, when they're not playing against each other in this competitive setting, they can play some Rocket League for fun, play some casual, play some ranked. You know, it's all a big community, and it's a lot of fun.
And we had Overlord talking about the different kind of scholarship opportunities for these students to move on and be able to go have some of their college potentially paid for while they are playing Rocket League or other esports too. And you mentioned the point of maybe going to the same college and playing with your former teammates. I mean, we see at the collegiate level I just saw a group in football, 2 seniors at a local college football team who played against each other in rivalry games on the same road 2 miles apart in high school on 2 different high school teams, and now that quarterback and wide receiver are on the same team together, playing against one another prior, now playing as teammates and 2 of the best players on the team. That can happen in this atmosphere too, where you see your other CMS opponents potentially become teammates in exhibition games, other tournaments that aren't CMS affiliated, and potentially, best case scenario for some of these kids, into college. So that's just another aspect of what is going to make CMS special. It's not a statewide championship. It is this Charlotte district that has schools coming together in this small base that are now going to grow this program together.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and also with the STEM program as well. Like all of these high school talent, they get to learn as well. You know, on the side of being able to play Rocket League competitively against each other. You know, they get to learn the hands-on learning as well, do a lot of great things. And like Overlord said, even if they don't end up in the esports pro scene and then they really don't want to do Rocket League once they go past high school, they can grow up to do so many great things on the tech side and all of that. So it's just a beautiful thing that CMS has put together for all of these high school students. And for us, we get to have some fun because usually we're not accustomed to doing Rocket League broadcasting at all. We're usually covering cars, but not ones that fly and not ones that hit a ball into the net. They're usually ones that go around.
Sometimes they do get demoed.
Flag, but yes, they do, and they flip. They flip a lot. But yeah, for us, you know, we don't really do Rocket League all that often, so it's a first for us. It's a lot of fun for us, and it's a lot of fun for the high school students as well.
So coming up next, we got 2 more games for the broadcast. Providence versus Garniger coming up here in just a couple of minutes as they start to join up on their teams. And then East Mech and South Mech will take on one another to conclude our preseason action here on Podium Esports, the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League. Devin Henry alongside Kenneth Bueno for Podium Esports as we get ready for what is going to be a 6-game season into the postseason. So this is going to span for a couple of months as we decide the inaugural champion of the CMS Rocket League Series. And everyone right now, this is just the preseason. These games don't matter in terms of who is going to make the postseason where, but exactly. These certainly matter in terms of playing these competitive games for the first time. And as Overlord talked about, doing it with Wednesday Night Lights, doing it with the broadcast, doing it with mean old Kenneth over here, giving himself some advice to these guys who are getting criticized up in the booth. No, I'm kidding. But being able to see yourself on a broadcast and being able to watch this back, and like I said earlier too, other teams being able to watch the film of these future opponents that they're going to take on, these games matter, maybe not more so than these upcoming games that are going to qualify you for your seedings in the postseason, but it matters for becoming truly a team before week 1, for seeing these other teams sometimes for the first time so far and being able to become one unit and fight for that inaugural championship.
Yeah, for sure. And you also get to scale your competition because while these teams are playing their teams in respective games, we're going to see Providence and Garinger here in just a little bit. They're going to tip off here for game number 1 in this best of 5. You get to also watch all the other games from all the other teams that are playing against each other. So you can learn from your game that you played on deck with your team, learn how to maximize the strengths and then try to minimize the weaknesses. But then look at how the other teams are playing against each other. What are they strong at? What are their weaknesses so that when you end up playing them in the regular season, while yes, things may be a little bit different on that end dynamic-wise, you've got a general idea of how they are, what the players are like, who are the ones to watch for, and then you could prepare a little more once you get into the regular season and when the standings will actually matter. We've got the kickoff here, first half minute of game number 1 between Providence and Garinger. Still no convincing side on the possession. Here's Gino up the wall. He'll try to find a teammate, Debonair, but can't do it.
Garinger in the orange for this match. Providence wearing the blue. BB Brexy watching this ball fall short of the net, and he will try to bring this up the sideline, and he gets sent the other direction, though. Lego Gamer trying to center this ball up. No other orange vehicles in the vicinity. Ian Warrior decides to take this game to the sky, bounces off the back wall innocently. BB Brexy unable to get that ball in the net either.
And a little calm play here from both teams. I don't think any of them are really willing to risk anything, but B. Brexy there with a shot. There was nobody at the net. And Ian Warrior with the assists. First goal of the game, they break the ice, and it's B. Brexy.
From about 2/3 pitch with a one-spot splash. Garniger will take a 1-0 lead here just over 1 minute into this first game of a best-of-5 series. Ian Warrior is able to get the advantage coming off of this face-off. Lego Gamer trying to head on forward, unable to get to it though. Gino watches on. Luce takes a shot, and he'll put that one in the center of the net. Quick response out of Providence.
And that was a beautiful passing play there, Devin, at least from the other team. It looks like a Lego Gamer tried to clear it out in the midfield, get B. Brexy involved, but Lego Gamer inadvertently giving it to Luce. And Luce with the score to even it up 1-1. They're going to meet at the center half. Looks like Gino not fast enough to get to the ball first. And Luce will look to control the ball here this time through. Maybe find Gino on a play through the midfield. And it gets blocked off by Ian Warrior. Debonair with a response. But all three of the blue players from Providence all the way from the goal line. And it looked dangerous for a moment. Now it's open net for Debonair. But can't do anything about it.
Try to bounce B. Breezy backing out of the way, but he was able to get himself forward. Gino now with control. Ian Warrior pops it away. Debonair now trying to bring it up the sideline. Centers up. Lego Gamers there, and it deflects off, and Debonair is able to get Providence a 2-1 lead.
For Lego Gamer there, another hit that did not go his way. Look at him sky for the ball. Oh, and he taps it in the wrong place with the left side of his car, and it knocks it in the goal. 2-1 for Providence early on. Some little mistakes there by Geringer, but still very competitive between the two teams so far.
Ian Warrior takes a shot, and Luce is going to be there to reject it. Ian Warrior on the rebound, can't get it. B. Brexy can't either. Lego Gamer last chance, and that ball will fall to the pitch.
And again, they're all stacking amongst each other. Providence is. There's a shot center. Gino cannot complete the affair that time through. And a demo. B. Brexy's going to get Gino there. He's going to take one out for a moment, make it a 3v2. And that's almost another shot on goal on the orange side. But they cannot find the ball in to even the score. Ian Warrior's going to look to calm the pace down, but he and B. Brexy are both double committing, and that's not going to help.
Luce spots the ball. Hovering around midfield. Gino hovers above it, moves it forward, but off kilter of the net. Stuck in the corner. Luce watches it go by. Gino with the stop. 2-1 lead for Providence. Under 2 to play here in game number 1 of a best-of-5 series. This ball continues to stay on the Gardner side.
Now, what I've noticed is we've seen from the first 2 games that even some of this one in game number 1, the boost management between each type of player and each team, I've seen a lot of cases where the boost has been used all up before they can even make the play complete. So you got to make sure you do that as well. That's another tactic in Rocket League apart from formations and rotations and having players at the right places at the right time with the ball, is also making sure you have enough boost in the tank. Even if it's not full 100%, you can get those little boost pads and then get the full ones at each corner of the field. And you have to make sure you can manage that well. Here's an open net, but Lego Gamer will be able to deflect it off and clear it for now. That was a scary situation there for Geringer. Did not want to get put down 3-1 in this opening game. Lego Gamer could have had an offensive play, but hit it too high. And Providence will bring it back the other way.
B. Breezy, the only Garniger there on the backside. Luce is able to stop this attempt to center it up. B. Brexy is actually tipping that ball, and it goes back towards the orange side here. Everybody stuck over there, decides to pop it over the other direction. Under 40 seconds to go in game number 1.
Oh, what a shot.
And that is going to be given to Ian Warrior.
Beautiful touch by Ian Warrior there in the corner, all by his lonesome. And Luce tried to knock it away, but it hits the right post. It goes to the goal line. It goes in. And we have ourselves, Devin, tied ball game with 34 seconds left.
All knotted up so far. It hasn't necessarily been answering back and forth, but it has been the occasional score to keep things alive as Ian Warrior makes a stop at the front of the net. Debonair trying to continue to keep this ball over in this side of the territory. Ian Warrior doesn't want any of it, though. They're going to be able to advance it beyond midfield. B. Brexy takes a shot. That's going to be just off left.
That was a nice pass there to B. Brexy. It just could not complete the interaction there. Lego Gamer will look to bring it all by himself. Clock will tick to 1. It's just going to wait for the ball to trickle to the turf. It's going to stay in the air. Looks like almost for a moment it was going to stay high. And we've got overtime in game 1.
Our second sudden death of these games so far. Luce is able to get a little bit of an advantage on there. Gino centers up, but nothing but orange vehicles blocking the way. Now remember, this is untimed here, so it is whoever scores first. It doesn't matter how long it takes them, as Debonair takes a shot down the middle, and he gets rejected by Ian Warrior. Back the other way, open net, and that is how game 1 will end. Ian Warrior with 2 goals to end it. Garnger will take home the first win of the Specify.
And I talked about Devin, the danger of the double commit. It happened with Debonair, and it happened with Providence as a whole. None of them really staying at the goal line. And at that point, Garinger were able to take advantage. They find the open net on a fast break, and they take game 1.
And that is a difference that we haven't seen. We haven't seen very many fast break goals so far through these first 3 games. Remember, though, best of 5, we just saw our last group go all the way to 5 games. And this game was not as dominant as we've seen some of the opening bouts to be. This right here was just a 1-point game in overtime and going back and forth. This was a momentum swap kind of game.
Yeah, it was, at least for a moment. Maybe we could see another game 5 here if it stays like that, but you know, there were some weaknesses I pointed out there, just like that double commit gets very dangerous. You pack certain sides, and you have so many players on one side of the field, and that was just a little mistake there. But from both sides, seeing equal fight between each of them offensively and even defensively, a lot of nice saves, a lot of good clear outs, and even some good passes trying to get the ball out of their side of the field as well. So some hope for both of these teams. It's only game 1. I know it was a loss there for Providence, but they did show a lot of strength. Did have a lot of things to look forward to in that first game. And again, it's a 5-game series. You've got chances to recoup, got chances to rebound. Game 2 might be it.
And we've seen how games and momentum have flipped, and sometimes that's because of an early goal. Sometimes that is because of a large stretch of no scoring at all from either team. So we have seen these high schoolers have these momentum swings, and that changes the outlook of how these matches go. Glad to have you here on CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League as we get ready for some more Rocket League action. Game number 2 coming up here in just a moment. One extra part that we saw earlier inside of this game was the responses, being able to go one-on-one against somebody and answer back when they score a goal. And that's kind of how we went to overtime in the first place and allowed Garger to get themselves in position to score that open net goal, was from responding when Providence went and got themselves in the goal.
And I talked about it, Devin, at the top of the show, that some teams like to counteract. They like to have a team be the aggressor and play offense, 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 offense. But if they just get one right tap defensively, that clears the whole field for them. And it happened there on that deciding game, a goal for the first game there for Garinger there, where they were just letting Providence play the offense, saw them all head for their side of the field with nobody in sight on their defensive line, and said, all right, we need one tap. Debonair went up in the air. Then there was a response, and all it was for Ian Warrior, just no resistance. Nobody's there. Just can find the ball in the net. So counteracting is very important in Rocket League as well. We talked about teams being so offensively powered that they can really just keep the ball on the other side of the possession and hold that percentage to their advantage. But just other teams like when others play offense, just so they get a good defensive play, and then the whole field is going to be there for them. They've got goals, and they can just compound that over a series of games. So I want to see if Garinger is able to continue that, if they continue that mindset, or whether that was just the one instance of them counteracting in the right place.
And we've seen a variety of different kinds of attempts to score, attempts to run this ball game, because as we see mostly in the pros, they're playing up in the air. They're skyballing this, and they're able to control the ball. They're able to air dribble and even make those passes off the high side of the wall and keep the ball up on top. That's where some teams like to play. But we have seen some teams have success on the bottom, on the pitch. And I think that in this game so far, we've seen a lot more play happening down on the bottom as opposed to what we've seen in past games, trying to have this game scored from atop.
Yeah, and the aerial play is very, very important, and especially for solo plays. And we saw a lot of those already in some of the previous matches where, you know, you can hit it off of the backboard and dunk it on a player's face and easily score a goal. That's where a lot of things are done in Rocket League, in the air, but that's a ground goal there by CFN Loose to make it 1-0, and Providence already up 1 with 19 seconds played in the game already.
Loose sets it up off the back wall with an easy nose into the back of the net. Providence down 1-0 in sets, able to take a 1-0 lead here in the first 19 seconds of this game. B. Brexy able to get a nose on that ball, and it will give Garinger a little bit of an advantage here. Almost able to take it by himself. Lego Gamer goes off the crossbar.
Again, as soon as I mentioned that double tap in the air, Lego Gamer tried it, and he almost succeeded. They almost had a clear method there. Garinger having 2 players near their goal. And it looked like only one of them could be on the side of the Blues, so it's going to halt their momentum offensively. Lego Gamer going to look for defense. He's going to whip the ball. Gino's going to dribble it into the middle. There's one player at goal. And for now, it's going to even out at midfield. B. Brexy seems to be the guy being the goalie, and finally he gets a touch. As Loose will respond. He'll be all by himself, though. More players on the orange side, and Gino going to look to take it all by himself.
B. Brexy had this ball centered up accidentally. Loose tries to take advantage, but Brexy gets there just in time to reject it the other direction. Debonair able to keep control. Providence trying to score that one off the crossbar. On the rebound, Loose goes off the crossbar as well. Third time is the charm for Gino to put into the back of the net. 2-0 Providence lead.
And I like that setup, even though maybe it wasn't intentional. Hit it twice, got some of the Garinger players jumping. And then Gino 6805 with a nice touch. That's all he needed to make it 2-0.
Lego Gamer aggressive off the sideline. Ball goes back midfield. Loose had a great look at that goal, but Brexy comes in just in time to put a stomp on that. Gino now stops the advancement of Garinger. Lego Gamer again, though, trying to advance this ball. Bounces off a deflection. Looking forward, that ball gets sent off the left side of the goal, and Gino now in control.
And they took Gino out of the play there. You saw a demo a little earlier on the top right of your screen. But the good thing about getting demoed in Rocket League is that you get brought back to your own half in the corner, and that's exactly where the ball was, so Gino was able to play immediately defense, even though he had been taken out a couple of seconds prior. Debonair going to take it in the air. That's a nice pass to Loose in the midfield. But again, all of the players there on their side, they're not necessarily pushing the ball forward by any means. Gino without any boost is going to look for some on this corner. And it looks like both sides are willing to stay where they may. Here's Debonair. Can he make a flip reset? Cannot do it.
Again, just off the crossbar for Providence. Lego Gamer, Ian Warrior with the shot. Debonair's able to get there in time, though. Now Debonair also trying to get this ball moved forward. Brexy is able to pop it up. This will land back again towards midfield for a free ball. Gino takes advantage, moves it forward. Again, right now, it feels like Garinger's just trying to get themselves beyond midfield and give themselves an opportunity to get onto the offensive end of the ball.
You need quicker rotation though, if you're Providence, because that was a weak spot on the defensive line there, where it looked like Debonair and Gino cannot communicate effectively. Debonair tried to go for the ball. It left the net wide open for at least 2 seconds, and there was a Garinger player in the midfield looking for the ball as well, and that shot could have easily deflected into the goal. There's a nice put by Loose, but it's saved by B. Brexy. Light work there as he gets that nice save, and it will stay 2-0. Garinger need a goal, but Providence are able to keep put for now, hold them at bay. Loose with the shot up high, and B. Brexit with another beautiful save.
A minute 21 remains here in game number 2 of this best-of-5 series. Providence with a 2-0 lead. Trying to tie us up at 1 apiece. There's a shot and a great save by Ian Warrior. He'll stop another ball, but won't be able to stop Debonair put into the back of the net. And that might be the dagger with 68 seconds to go.
You gotta feel for Ian Warrior. Couldn't do anything. His teammates went by in a flash. And then Ian Warrior ran out of boost, and he had to go backwards to deflect the ball the second time. Not quick enough. We've got a 3-0 ball game. That almost goes straight to the orange net to make it 4-0. And Garinger escape another goal, but Gino looking to take it all by himself. He's going to flick it over one. That's open net, but Loose cannot find the way to keep the play going.
Big demo on Ian Warrior. He responds, though, quickly. Brexy able to get out of harm's way with the clear. Now stuck in the pocket. Gino trying to get this ball away from the net. Ian Warrior almost got away. Lego Gamer sees the ball, hovering over, almost centered up onto the field before that got poked away. Loose now trying to track this ball back down. 30 seconds remain. Providence a chance to tie this up at 1-1. Oh, and Lego Gamer saw the open ball. Match not over yet. They got a mighty large hill to climb, but you got to start with the goal, and this time Lego Gamer saw the opportunity. Got it right above Loose, makes it a 1-3 game. Still a lot to gain, though.
But there's 26 seconds left. They got this goal, yes, and that's a great thing. But the time may not be on your side to officially come back. It looks like Providence want to calm the ball down and bleed off as much time as they can. But you can tell a little more desperation out of Garinger this time by. That's open net on the orange side of the field, but Providence isn't there to capitalize on it and make it 4-1. Final 5 seconds in game 2, and this looks like a Providence response proper. And as the ball hits the floor, Devin, Providence, even the series at 1.
One apiece now as Providence is able to get themselves a sizable victory. It looked like it was going to be 3-0. Turns into a 3-1, though. Still, nonetheless, you'd like to have that victory here in game number 2. Ties us up at 1 apiece in a best-of-5 series. So, Kenneth, we continue to see some of these players find ways to come back and win. And that's my favorite part of having a best-of-5. It's not just the one and done. You get to learn about your opponent. You get to learn about your team and what you need to do to better yourselves for the next game. And we see almost a completely different outcome between game 1 and game 2.
That's definitely true. The first game, very close. Took us a while to decide the winner by a margin that was very slim. But then came Providence out of nowhere. They're able to really dominate this game. And although there was that one goal by Garinger, you know, Providence just held their own, held their ground. And we'll see if they can keep that momentum through the rest of the games. We're tied at 1 apiece. I think this may be the first time, Devin, where we're officially tied at 1. Most of the time we have more of a 2-1 lead before we get either a response or a gentleman sweep. In the past matches that we've seen tonight, I think the first proper time we see one game won by one team, one game by another. So game 3 may be the most pivotal here in terms of this best-of-5.
Both teams looking for that gentleman sweep because they both know what's available to them. Looking to win 3-1, you got to win 3 games in a best-of-5 to win the series. We're in the preseason, so this does not count towards their overall record as we move into the postseason. But nonetheless, 1-1. Who will take the advantage here in game number 3? Face-off here. Lewis is able to control the ball a little bit. Looks like Providence won't go and try to attack it, though. Sent back out to midfield by Ian Warrior. 3-on-1 at the net. Gets poked away by Brixie.
Yeah, Lego Gamer there with a save. But the ball is going to float high. That's a tough spot. Put it in. Brexie almost knocked it into the own goal. But luckily, Providence wasn't there to make sure the ball went in. Here's Gino looking for a solo play, but he's all by himself. 3 players there from Garinger to knock it off. And a nice demo to Ian Warrior by Gino. And Debonair will look to control and take it back to midfield.
Dribbling it on the ground, Brexie takes advantage as it poked on top of the hood there. Loose now pokes it into the pocket. This is going to center up nicely over the net. Lego Gamer says, no, though. Moves it away again, though. It's center. Loose takes advantage and puts it in the back of the net, and Providence continues their reign.
And look at Gino there, set up off the wall. Caught all of Garinger's players, all 3 of them at one side of the field, and you're going to leave something open there, Devin. And that was an open goal. And we have a 1-0 game. Providence up with Loose getting the first goal in game 3. He'll look to control it, make it a solo play. Will he take it to the air? It'll be no. It'll actually get to the air. Gino going to look to hit this one to Debonair. Some nice passing out of Providence. And Garinger looked to be a little more desperate this time around. And they're double committing at a high level. And it's not necessarily working for them. That's a nice bump for Debonair. But luckily, Brexie's able to knock it to the other side and keep them stable.
Ball goes from corner to corner. Debonair is able to put a stop to this Lego Gamer. Bounces off the corner, centers up, and gets cleared out the other direction. Lego Gamer sends it across the face of his own net. Luckily, no Providence players coming across the net there. Debonair off the roof. Lego Gamer skies up, though. Stops it. Gino finds a hole and goes off the back wall. No rebound, though, for Providence.
And here's a look at Ian Warrior. I think he might want to take it to the air, though 2 players from Providence went up for that. And Debonair will look to be a nice shot there by B. Brexy, but we're seeing a lot of the boost being wasted on these attempts to hit the ball, either defensively or offensively, and that's hurting. That's a deflection by Gino that goes awry, and Ian Warrior credited with the goal, tied up 1-1.
Ian Warrior muscled his way forward to find that ball. You had everyone from Garnger there trying to get themselves into the net. All 3 players inside the box to tie this game up at 1 apiece. 2:49 to go in game number 3. Who can take advantage in this series? Lego Gamer gained the first push here.
And you really
got into each other there.
That's some defensive fixing you need, and that ball is going to be in a dangerous spot again on Geringer's half. Luckily, Lego Gamer is able to send it off to the midfield and hopefully have some possession of their own. I'm seeing a lot of defensive mishaps by either team in some cases where a lot of them want to go for the ball. There's some miscommunication. Again, this is preseason, so you're going to learn these things. You're going to have your coaches with you, and you're going to be able to fix all those problems by the time you get to actual standings play. But it's a problem that does need to be addressed, and that's a nice hit there from B. Brexy to set it up. Lego Gamer ends up knocking it in.
It sat idle on the face of the net. Brexy's able to get it there. Ian Warrior actually was the one who tapped that ball down. And Lego Gamer executes and converts that for a goal. 2-1 Garinger lead.
We'll see what Ian Warrior can do all by himself here. He's been one of the better players on this Garinger team. And you look at the stats there, the assists, the saves, the shots that he's been able to put up in the goal as well. And there's Brexy all by himself. Defense not there. And B. Brexy finds a goal of his own, makes it 3-1. Garinger looking to pull away in game 3.
Spreading the love here, and Brexy's able to put this one into the back of the net. 3-1 lead. Garinger now with an opportunity to put themselves ahead in this series. They have a 2-goal lead, 1:43 to go in game number 3 between Garinger and Providence, as these two get a stalemate at midfield, and the ball is not rolled towards one back wall or the other as a demo there from Gino.
And this is the best way to get back in this series if you're Garinger there. You saw the convincing W by Providence there earlier on in the series. And so this game seems to be the best way for Garinger to say, all right, you've got that game. You had it by a couple of goals. Let's reverse the situation. Let's go up a couple of goals ourselves. And let's show you what we're made of in this preseason matchup. As B. Brexy will knock it away. He'll clear the ball. But Luce will find a way to get it through the midfield. Although he's going to be by himself. There could be potential pass. There's nobody in the center of the field. Debonair might have looked for it, but just couldn't quite get to it in enough time. Ian Warrior with a shot cleared to net. But Debonair is able to find a way to it. They're going to meet in the sky. And it is tough right now. So competitive between the two teams. It feels like nobody's really got a convincing edge on either side of the goal line. And B. Brexy would look to take it all by himself.
Ian Warrior pokes it forward back onto the Providence side. Gino there cleans it up towards the goal. And Brexy's able to poke it away. But Debonair is there to clean it up and put it into the back of the net. Just like that, the Dragons fly, and it is only a 1-goal deficit for Providence with 24 seconds to go.
Yeah, a lot of time, Devin, to get officially back in this game, or at least take it to overtime. Debonair, a wide-open shot, and he made the most of it. Didn't make any mistakes. It's that open shot, the open shots you need to be making. For Debonair, it's easy work there. And this is a problem in Garinger again, packing that corner. You don't want to have too many players there. B. Brexy and Ian Warrior both following the ball. It looks like they want to commit at the same time. And that could have been a shot on goal. Final 6 seconds in game 3. Can Providence find a way to tie it up?
Debonair floats it up, and that ball gets by. At the buzzer, It's a 3-3 ball game, and we're going to sudden death.
It's not over till it's over. Debonair with a shot, Lego Gamer with a redirect, but it goes in, and we've got overtime.
What a way to extend this game. Game number 3 of a best-of-5 series. Skyball right at midfield. Next goal will end this game and give whoever's the victor a 2-1 lead in this series.
And it was just a poor situation there for Lego Gamer. You obviously could tell the intention is Debonair finds a way off the backboard, and that's going to be a W for Providence on a comeback.
Debonair goes clutch in the closing seconds, and within 30 seconds scores the game-tying and game-winning goal for Providence to take a 2-1 lead. Boy, we've had some good games, Kenneth, but I don't think we've seen that quite yet.
That was a great game. A reverse sweep in the game with the goals. And Providence, it looked like for a moment Garinger were able to control them and you know, prevent another win. But wow, Providence were able to come back. And that's a lot on the credit to Debonair. The fantastic plays that he put up. And I know that there for Lego Gamer, one of the shots that really didn't go his way. He was going to deflect it. It was going to be a nice defensive save. But Debonair bringing the team on his back. And Providence get the game lead. But now they have to close it off in 4.
Exactly. That was a clutch conclusion for Providence. But now you need to finish it off because we know for a fact that Garinger can go out and win a match. We could easily go to 5-game camps like we just did, but hey, how about this? Some luck, some history. No blue team has won yet. This could be the first blue team to win in this preseason bout. It's been orange so far in our first 2 matches, so we could see a blue team take the win in Providence this case for the first blue win here of our preseason matches of the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League here in our Rocket League tournaments preseason matches as we get ready to open up the season. 2-1 lead for Providence after that clutch opening, and now we will have ourselves the opportunity to see if Garinger can get themselves into this game and extend us to our second straight matchup with a 5-game set. 5 minutes on the clock, kickoff underway. Who's going to be able to take home this win as Luce will get the early jump. Debonair, who scored those last 2 goals, pops it up, and they're short of centering. There it is. Gino can't get it, though. Brexy slaps it away.
And that was crucial as well, Devin, for Debonair because he had taken away that corner goal that gives you immediately 100% boost, stole it away from anybody on the Garinger squad, and he could have made a play of his own. That was a nice pass to Gino, just intercepted at the wrong time. And for now, it will remain scoreless over the first half minute. Well, look at that pinch by Gino. Can he follow up in the air? No, he can't. He gets bumped out of the way.
Got disrupted, and sometimes that's the best defense or someone, you know, for instance, for me, I'm not a great passer, scorer, or dribbler, or name anything else. But one thing that you try to do sometimes is just be a disruptor. Sometimes just getting some of the opposing players off of their rhythm can go a long way.
Yeah, it's definitely true. One thing I also wanted to point out is that the touches to the backboard are so important. Well, even if it's the corner, even if it's not directly on target, those shots that are going to the goal that either get deflected or just go off the wall, they're very important because they really scatter the teams away. And we saw it on one of the goals where it looked like Garinger had packed it in on one side. All 3 of the players were really in that corner, couldn't really do much, but that's because the ball hit the wall a couple of times and then finally knocked its way in. So you have to work around, even if you're not necessarily the best passer or the best facilitator, as B. Brexy, by the way, has open goal, and he's going to make quick work of that. 1-0 Garinger. You have to make sure that if you're going to be a disruption, you're going to hit against the wall, and you're going to do it as many times as possible because it's going to spread the team out, it's going to make them panic, and then you're going to have a teammate there to assist.
A buck and a half into this game. Garinger is able to put themselves up on the board, trying to knot this up at 2 apiece and send this into a critical game 5. Gino skies up, trying to attack from the top rope. Got rejected, but Luce is there to bring the ball back across midfield.
It's going to be all about control here for Garinger. They do a nice job of that. And clear the ball out with Lego Gamer. And Lego Gamer's going to have open net, by the way. But Luce will look for a save. And that's exactly what I talked about. You don't need to be the scorer. You don't need to be the best shooter, or at least accuracy-wise. But hit it against that backboard. And look what happens. It spreads them out. There's an open space somewhere. Ian Warrior found that in the center. And it's a 2-0 ball game.
We saw this in the last game, though. Garinger with a 2-0 lead 2 minutes in. But you have to close it out. Cannot allow Providence back into this ball game. Already over onto the Providence side of the field. They're trying to advance this forward. Finally, Gino's able to slide it forward to an open net. It was just off kilter, though, and Brexy is able to get there first. Still, though, attacking. Pressure put on by Providence as this will again escalate beyond midfield. Good slap, good stop, Debonair.
And we're seeing those shots, fall to slightly open nets. Ooh. And there's Loose there with a response, another shot off the backboard, but this time on Providence's side. Debonair went up for it, missed it the first time, found it on the way down, and Loose in the center hits it to the center of the net. And it's a one-goal lead.
I think they collided, and no one could gain possession there, and that gave Loose an optimal position. 1-point ball game now.
Yeah, that was a good play from Providence,
Gino!
And that goes in! Gino hits it, and it was an own goal. As they went for it, there's Gino with a touch. It goes right off of Ian Warrior and B. Brexy, and it finds its way in. 2-2 ball game with 2:22 left in the game.
Deuce is wild here late in the second half of game number 4. Brexy from the top rope. This is going to go off the back wall. Ooh, no. Good job there from Debonair to able to just kind of change the ball direction there. Forces Providence and Garinger to have to change up their attempt here. Ian Warrior sends it crossfield. Debonair gets a hold of it, trying to dribble forward, and Brexy puts a stop to it. Loose again. This time goes off the side, off the back wall. Can't finish the loose ball. Still up. Finally gets down. A big scare there for Garinger on the defensive side. Now on a fast break the other direction. Can't quite score, though.
Oh, that was a huge what-if there, Devin. If it could have gone in, Ian Warrior going to flick that one up. Gino tried going for it. He whiffs. He misses it. Luckily, Loose is there to find the ball. And that could have easily broken this tie. But with 1:25, this play, or this drive really remains scoreless for now. As B. Brexy would look for the ball. There's Gino with a response. That's a dangerous put to center. And it's been so fun watching these guys go back and forth here. That's another good shot, and that's going to go in.
B. Brexy from midfield, or you know what? Was that B. Brexy on the shot? Yeah, it was. Then he just got over across the field real quick. Midfield set up off the sidewall. Garinger able to take advantage again. 70 seconds to go. Can they hold on to a 3-2 lead in game number 4?
They have to step up the defense because Providence have been close a couple of times already to the goal. And Lego Gamer wasting his boost a little bit. He'll fall to roughly 33 as he went up for it. 65 on behalf of Ian Warrior. There is a potential shot by Gino, but it is reflected off. And Garinger are going to look to burn some more time here. It's just that Debonair and company is so quick to the ball in many cases, and they're really able to pressure, and especially Loose as well. He's going to go up for it, maybe go for a solo play. Gino's going to have the ball, and it was met in the air.
Lego Master did a great job anticipating where that ball was going to end up. Puts a stop to any sort of attempt there. That goes off the crossbar. Debonair's going to get their line drive, and we're tied up again with 23 seconds to go.
I talked about it. You can't single out Debonair. He's going to be there. And for the defense for Garinger, a lot of them were too far away. Lego Gamer was really the only one there. He could defend as much as possible against Loose, but for Debonair, couldn't do anything. And we've got a tie game again. 3-3 with 20 seconds left. Who can surmount the other?
Stuck on the Providence side. Loose advances it. They find midfield. Final 10 seconds. Are we going to see another sudden death overtime? Stuck in the corner. Lego Gamer's going to try to move that forward, and the clock will run out. For the second time in this series, we have an overtime battle between Garinger and Providence in game number 4.
Oh, that was a shot on goal immediately by Lego Gamer. Loose was able to knock it away and save it. And that was almost about 5 or so seconds in the middle of the overtime. Here's a huge pinch by Brexy. And it's going to set it up for Ian Warrior. He's going to hit off the wall, maybe get Lego Gamer on the play as well, and make them scatter. But for right now, a lot of momentum not on either side officially. It feels like it's balanced between the two. A very competitive series overall. But again, this is series deciding. If you're Providence, you win this game, it's going to be a win in the series overall. We'll get to the next one. But for Garinger, there's a lot on the line to take it to game 5.
Gino soaring forward and puts it in the back of the net. Overtime victory. Providence will take home the victory in this series, 4-3 in this final game. They take a 3-1 win. Did Gino hit both of the overtime goals?
I'm not sure if I remember, but one thing I noticed there, Gino had the overtime theme playing as his goal replay was going on. Perfect setting. Overtime theme, overtime goal, and Providence is able to hold on. They get over Geringer here in a great series. I think our second, Devin, that has gone to this 4-game stretch. We've had one in Game 5. And I think most of them have always been around that mark, but we could have had another Game 5 that were Geringer, but, you know, who knows. But Providence, beautiful game played. I got to give a lot of credit to Debonair. You know, a lot of his skill on offense really propelled this team forward. But, you know, it's always that magic hit by one of the teammates who has been involved, but not involved as much. And Gino, all by himself in the air. You can't say anything about that differently. Just a gorgeous goal to send them forward.
And those were all very tight games, and that ended up being 4-game match. Coming up next, East Mech versus South Mech to close off our quadruple header of preseason CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League as we get ready for week 1 of competition next Wednesday night. Glad to have you here on Podium Esports. Devin Henry alongside Kenneth Bueno as we get ready for our final preseason game of this season. Then we will head into week 1 next week for a 6-week season, and then that will punch us into the playoffs for the inaugural championship here in CMS for Rocket League. And Kenneth, we've seen a variety of talents, a variety of skill levels. At the end of the day, though, these are all high school teams. Some of them, they have been preparing for this for a very long time as a unit, as a team. Others, they've kind of come together in the past couple of weeks to try to form something and get ready for this very quickly approaching season. But we have seen so many close matches. We have not seen a blowout series to this point. Even series that looked like they were going to be close to a sweep, either just straight up weren't a sweep, or in those games where they did lose, they were still in it. So we have seen some very competitive games between every school that we've seen so far.
Yeah, it's definitely true. And in recent history, with all the games that we've played so far here tonight in the series, I don't think we've really ever seen the goal counter for one team go up past, what, 4 or 5? I think one time it was a 6-3 game in the opening matchup. Yeah, 6-3 in the opening matchup. But other than that, we've had all of these games come down to either 1 goal differences, sometimes 2, but a lot of them, you're right, have been immensely close. And I think regardless of whether the teams have been waiting for this all their lives or whether they've only been practicing for a week or 2, the skill level is still there. I think obviously there are things to fix. There are things to kind of tune in for each and every team because there's always going to be room for improvement. But for the preseason matchups in this CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League, it's been a sight to behold. It's been so much fun to watch, and all of these players have shown their talent. And these teams are going to probably give us a really good regular season and postseason if we keep this up in the preseason.
Glad to have you here on the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League preseason series between all of our teams. We have our final match coming up here in just a few moments to conclude our preseason quadruple header as we head into next week, our first games of the regular season to punch us into what will be the first ever playoffs for Rocket League for CMS. These are all high schools based in the Charlotte area, all pretty close together. This isn't some sort of national, you know, a little spot here, a little spot there. These are all local programs who are close to one another, trying to build up an esports program, build up this Rocket League repertoire, and go out and play competitively at a large level with their teams, putting together a team atmosphere with their colleagues and their peers that they go to math class and English class and science class with, and whatever else that they might be doing. We had Overlord with us a little bit earlier talking about some of the other STEM activities that they do, even right before they jump into these Rocket League servers. So a lot going on for these students as they get ready to fight for what is going to be a championship here in Rocket League. But Kenneth, as we've gone through these first 3 matches, what has caught your eye most with these high schoolers showing off some of these talents?
Honestly, I think it's the cohesion in a lot of these games. I think for a lot of teams, yes, there's mistakes, but I've seen a lot of cooperation. It be immediate. And, you know, I'm not sure, obviously, the history between the players, how long they've been playing together, or whether this is their first time in a competitive setting in a group of 3. But from what I've seen, there's been a lot of teams that have worked together so well. You know, you've got individual players that can strut their stuff, but overall, they play a factor in the team. They end up passing. They end up finding plays. They end up scattering defenses and finding goals. So although it's the preseason, although it's the first games for these teams, I've seen a lot of cohesion. I've seen a lot of solid teamwork, and it's great that they've been able to put up these great games as a result.
And that is only going to grow as we go through the season into week 1 and through week 6, as then we will hit the postseason. But what do you expect to see from what we have witnessed so far once we start off the season and we hit those games that mean something towards that postseason eligibility and seeding?
I might see a lot more aggression. I think aggression might be a big thing here. There wasn't too much aggression so far in the opening matches. Maybe this gets all changed with East and South Mech going at it for the last game of our quadruple header. But I do want to see a lot of aggression. I do want to see a lot more bumping, a lot more demos. We saw somewhat of a taste of that, but I think more teams are going to get more aggressive. They're going to start to exploit how pivotal that's going to be, and that's really going to open a lot of things up for them. So I'm expecting a lot of aggression to be turned up once they start getting more comfortable in their play styles, and then we'll see how the competitiveness goes from there, because if one team finds an aggressive standpoint, another team does the same, we're going to be in for an absolute bloodbath, but it's going to be one that's worth the watch.
Glad to have everybody watching on Twitch. Excited to see you here next week once we start the regular season. For now, though, let's head on down to the pitch for our final preseason game. East Mech, South Mech underway. First 5-minute game underway. And, of course, these teams getting very quickly to the goal. South Mech will strike first. Mr. Fascinating himself, able to get himself into the back of the net.
Yeah, Fascinating Lemur. That's an open shot. Nobody on defense there. Only Toby was really the only guy there. And it's already a South Mech 1-0 lead. Only 4 seconds into game 1. It's got to say something. And Super Nacho will try to hit this ball. He goes over Fascinating Lemur. And Rory's Heart will bring it to the corner. They're already quick fire there from South Mech. Could just tell you how good their offense might be in this opening game. And East Mech haven't really been able to get it out of their blue half. I think now's the first time they really do. And South Mech gonna play a little defense as Super Nacho skies up high and maybe can find a teammate at center. He does. It's just Stray. We're tied up at 1-1.
Ball landed perfectly. Super Nacho kind of gets a stray in the air as it goes off the ceiling, and just Stray, right place, right time, drops into the bottom 90 to knot up this game at 1 apiece.
And that's quintessential passing right there from Super Nacho. Put it up high, put it where nobody can get it. And then had the pass, and that's almost a goal by Fascinating Lemur, but Just Stray makes a defensive play and keeps it out.
Out of nowhere across the face of the goal, and Just Dre keeps that ball alive. Super Nacho now on the attack. Dre can't get to it, though. Only Toby's still back on defense. Hey, you see this in soccer. They kicked it back to the goalkeeper. I don't think we've really seen that so far here in Rocket League. You see that a lot in soccer, though, or football, whatever you want to call it. Nonetheless, though, 1 minute through, 1-1 game. Super Nacho skies in but misses the ball. Just Dre, though, able to keep it here on the orange side of the field.
Yeah, but look at the danger there, Devin, for Nidak, because he had no boost the whole time he was playing defense, and if they had a shot that wasn't in his reach, it could have been detrimental on South Mech's defensive stance, and it would have hurt them, could have cost them a goal. This is going to cost them a goal, though. East Mech has Super Nacho on their team, and Super Nacho finds the back of it to make it 2-1.
You do not see that at this level that often. Dribbling it on the pitch and soars that perfectly into the back of the net. 2-1 East Mech lead here with 3:38 to go in game number 1. Nedak was able to get there first. South Mech is able to poke this ball forward, slaps into the corner. Super Nacho now gets it under control.
And Nedak's going to pass it back to Roy's Heart, but will they win the fight against Super Nacho? He did not. But the ball luckily went to the corner, avoided an open net shot to make it 3-1. And I am liking how East Mech is playing this, but Super Nacho is really carrying the team a little bit. He's been the main aggressor on offense. I liked that East Mech have kept themselves defensively stood with only Toby really at the back line. And for now, they're going to make another clear. That's a solid one there. Nedak will try and pinch that ball and choke it to the side. He can't do it.
Poked forward. Super Nacho able to keep it on the orange side of the turf. South Mech still under attack so far. Just Dre pokes it forward again, trying to continue this pressure. East Mech shoots, scores. Just Dre makes it a 3-1 ball game.
100% accuracy, 2 shots, 2 goals for Just Dre, and that's just right placement. The ball bounces off the backboard. Two of the orange players there for South Mech. And then it's just an open tap.
This time a great jump by East Mech as that ball's going to be almost centered up. Super Nacho wanted to streak in there. Too many orange cards though. Just Drake can't center it. Nedak puts it forward. Now they move into East Mech territory. Only Toby, a great bounce though, and these cards are going back and forth across the pitch.
That's nice rotation though by South Mech. Rory's Heart was able to get it. Looked like Nedak had missed it on purpose. That's a potential shot. That goes wide at the top. And off the post, Just Dre gonna look to follow it up in the air and cannot quite get to it. Fascinating Lemur gonna reset. And only Toby's gonna hit it to his own side. But he'll find his teammate in Super Nacho. And they'll bleed off some time here. A minute 55 left in this first game. And South Mech need to step up on the offensive side. Their defense a little shaky. They're starting to pick it up though. They just need that other side. And they find a weakness again. East Mech does to make it 4-1.
Second goal for Super Nacho. 4-1 lead now for East Mech in game number 1. Again, that's a really good passing clinic right there. Goes cross field and able to nose that ball in. And again, East Mech continues to extend their lead in game number 1.
And again, that's going to be another dangerous play. Super Nacho, easily one of the best offensive players for East Mech. He's been the one commanding the ball, pioneering it through the field. Only Toby looking it for on the other side, and Just Dre. I mean, Just Dre has put offense of his own clearly, and that's an open shot, but Nedak will find it. He'll save it out, but really Super Nacho has been making this offense quite riveting for East Mech. Only Toby's been more on the defensive side. You look at that, 46 on his score. You tell the role that he's playing, still very effective. It's Super Nacho all over the place, and he's making it work.
That time trying to poke it out of the corner and center up. Nedak is there, though, to reject that concept. Just Dre unable to get a nose on it. Now they're into the East Mech side. Ball centered up, and Nedak takes advantage for the goal.
Wow, that's what you needed. A score there for South Mech. And Super Nacho tried to dribble it out, but Nedak was there to make sure that ball went in. 4-2 ball game. They're going to go for a kickoff. And still a lot of time for South Mech to get back in this. It's just that one goal that could change the fate. Only Toby going to bring it through. Super Nacho going to try to take it to the corner, but it gets knocked away, and Super Nacho left without any boost.
Ball harmlessly will go to the corner. It's a drag race to get there first. Rory's Heart gets there. Poked away, though, and East Mech gets this ball under control. Nedak pokes it away. Good save there. They continue to move forward. Can't get a hold of that ball, though. Just Dre pokes it back the other direction.
And that was an open net there. Defense crumbling a little bit there for South Mech again. And they got lucky. And nobody from East Mech was there to take a shot. And that's a shot by Just Dre, but Nedak is able to knock it off and keep it away from the goal line. Final 10 seconds, and it looks like South Mech will have to look on for game 2 if they want to tie things up. In the final 2 seconds, looks like it may hit the ground this time through. Going to go up the wall, but Devin, looks like this game is over. East Mech looks like they're going to take game 1.
Impressive scoring there at the end, but unfortunately that isn't going to do them any good, as that will be probably one of the more dominating wins that we've seen, certainly in game number 1, Kenneth. But then you look at the tail end of that, we saw a little bit less scoring there. And I think that we've really seen how momentum from one game into another has affected some of these matches. But nonetheless, you kind of got to go out there and think, you got to go out there, dominate another game here.
Yeah, and for East Mech, that's their plan. You know, they dominated that first game, and they had a lot of good ball movement. Super Nacho being on fire, really, you could be a fire Nacho. I don't know if you want to say it like that. But, you know, South Mech has to find a way to stop him. Jalapeno Nacho. We can go all in those references, but South Mech needs to find a way to slow him down, because Just Dre, as good as he is on offense, he hasn't been absolutely the best like Super Nacho. Only Toby has been a nice defensive presence, which has helped. And again, it goes back to my point about rotations and finding roles. If you have that rotation, got at least one guy on the backside holding the fort, you know, you're going to have plays where you're going to get everyone involved at some point, touching the ball. Somebody's going to rotate somewhere. And then you've got guys like Super Nacho really able to score all those goals. I think for South Mech, stop Super Nacho first and then try to work around that yourself. Because, I mean, that was a tough first game for them. You could tell they were really confused by how East Mech were playing. So hopefully they can get back in this. But right now, East Mech has the upper hand.
Yeah, a couple of missed balls from both sides in that ball game, and then a couple of just misfired shots, whether it's trying to find that next man to get into the net or just finding their way to move the ball forward to the net. So you got to imagine that some of those are going to get cleaned up as you play more games together, as you get to know the other team better. That's why best of 5 is so important. You get to learn that other team a little bit better and where those weak points are, and that's something that you have to study. That's not an easy attribute of Rocket League, having to study how you beat this team that you're facing, especially when it's not a one-game, one-and-done. You have to figure out how you're going to advance and do better in these upcoming games.
Yeah, that's true. And learning from East Mech's play there in that first game could maybe help them in this second game, as we'll kick off here for game 2. Nidak going to touch the ball first, but Just Stray is going to get it to the direction of the orange half. But all you got to do is just stop Super Nacho and get some better rotational plays in there, and you should be okay. But they double committed there. Rory's Heart the only one at midfield to play defense, and that could have been an open shot. Luckily, it goes off wide. Super Nacho in the air. He'll find Just Stray, and it goes off the top, and it will not go in. But another dangerous moment for South Mech.
They got pinballed around. Only Toby just goes off the tip top of that car. Otherwise, that could end up being a goal. There's a demo there from Just Stray. Ball still remains on the East Mech side, though. They have a 1-0 lead in terms of their games, all knotted up at nothing apiece. You're almost 60 seconds through this second game. Soaring through, Super Nacho got a piece of it. It's going to go off the back wall, but no other blue vehicles there to take advantage.
You know, somehow, in some way, I don't want to necessarily, like, make a huge stretch or anything, but you know, the way Super Nacho is playing kind of reminds me of watching Yan play on the pro scene, is that his teammates very good defensively, while Yan is just really that offensive powerhouse that is so hard to stop. And so far, over the first 2 games, even with the shot attempts here, I don't know there's no goals in game 2 right now, but Super Nacho has just been the best player offensively. Look at this. Double tap there. Nidak with a save. Just Dre looked for a response and couldn't knock it in. But he's kind of like a Yan player. Super Nacho, just all offensive-minded, and he's able to pressure South Mech to play better defense. And so far, it's working for East Mech and Super Nacho.
And you have to hand it to South Mech a little bit here. They have had numerous miscommunications and mistakes, but they have not let it affect them yet. Every time they make a mistake, they run into each other a little bit. They're able to recover and get back on the defensive side and keep East Mech out of the goal. Great recoveries. I mean, you don't want the mistakes, but they are able to make those mistakes and then continue playing defense and keep East Mech out of the goal.
Yeah, at least in this game, they've gotten away with a lot of things. You just got to clean up those mistakes, and they should be okay. I mean, they're a competitive team. I have no doubt that South Mech can easily put it to East Mech and get this game very close, and get this series very close. It's just the mistakes haven't really fallen their way, and they've appeared at the wrong times. And with Super Nacho playing as good as he is right now, and as well as Just Stray being sort of that second guy in command, it's really allowed East Mech to pull away in that first game, and it's allowing them to hold possession control. Could that be the first goal? No, it's not. Sent away by Fascinating Lemur.
Fascinating Lemur has been a monstrosity at the goal here in this game. Back-to-back tremendous saves. South Mech keeps East Mech off the scoreboard with 2:10 to go. 2:10, what? 2:07 to go now in this game number 2.
There's a beautiful save by Toby. Again, some great defensive plays by him. We haven't seen a lot of offense, but really he's playing the role of holding that goal line. And they've been relying on him, and he's done his job so far to avoid really any goals. That's a nice shot by Just Dre, and it's going to fall in. 1-0 ball game. East Mech with the score first.
It took him 3 shot attempts, but finally gets it into the back of the net, and East Mech has a 1-0 advantage with a $1:48 to go in game number 2. South Mech has played really well defensively, but you got to wonder eventually you're going to get scrambled up. Has East Mech found a little bit of a rhythm here offensively?
You know, I always point out the fact that you can knock a barrier so many times, and well, yes, maybe it stays stationary at some point. Something's going to break. With a powerful weapon like East Mech, and it's happening for South Mech. Yes, they've had some solid defensive plays, but sometimes they're going to break through. There's an open net, though. That's dangerous. Nidak really the only one trying to chase the ball back, and that's a double tap by Just Dre. 2-0.
Tremendous setup. It starts on the opposite side of the pitch, off the back wall, all on his own. Just Dre 2-0 East Mech lead here with 1:19 to go in game number 2 and what was a stagnant match to begin. Now East Mech really starting to advance forward.
Yeah, East Mech have not let up, and they are just picking up on what they left off in the first game. That was a miss there by Just Dre, but picked up by Super Nacho. Can he keep the ball alive? Yes, he can in the final minute. And South Mech need to go desperately if they want to even the series at 1. That's a double commit. First time we see only Toby go for the ball here in a while. And so that could offer the opportunity at an open net. Rory's Heart tried it, but he whiffed. Nidak to follow, but it's knocked away by Super Nacho, and another clear by East Mech.
Ball up in the corner. Fascinating Lemur almost got to it. It's still a free up ball. It's going to come towards the plane of the goal. Fascinating Lemur is able to bump it out, though. Nidak has a look at the goal. Slapped away, though, by Just Dre.
And for South Mech, you really have to wonder what happens from here on out if this game doesn't fall. I mean, there's 19 seconds left. They have to score. They really have to change things up. It's just that they really have to find that answer. Nidak could be that answer, but he missed it slightly. It went off of his nose, and it went high. Final 5 seconds, and East Mech looks to take a 2-game lead in this series, and will add an extra goal. No, they won't, but they still got the win.
Yeah, East Mech almost tacked it on there. But nonetheless, Just Dre's pair of goals puts them at a 2-0 lead, an opportunity for our first and only sweep of our quadruple header of preseason CMS Varsity Sports, Varsity Esports and STEM League battles here in Rocket League. So, very obviously, you have yourself a dominating performance, but in a very different way from game 1 to game 2. That was a much slower, meticulous, and closer drawn battle in game number 2. And you got to wonder how you can flip the script and try to not get swept here, be the only team swept on the broadcast at least. They were there, just not quite enough to really keep the goals from coming in.
Yeah, for South Mech, you have to find a way to take back the rhythm, because once East Mech can pull away, or even any team can pull away, if they set the tone, they can do that. They can turn the pace up and slow it down at their will, and South Mech has nothing to do but just kind of hold on and brace for impact. And that's been their problem so far in these first 2 games, is that East Mech can really do anything, and South Mech is really on the reactionary. So try to take control in this game. But again, keep in mind that defense there, because East Mech has done so well with their rotation of players, having only Toby in the back, having Super Nacho and Just Stray move around with good ball movement. So maybe mimic what they can do, try to build a formation of your own, and get back in the series.
And we haven't talked a lot about only Toby so far in this entire series, and in part that's because of their front offense, their forwards, if you will, doing a good job from keeping the ball from getting to the net in the first place. This time, though, Rory's Heart able to get a little bit of a run here, floats it up towards the goal and sinks it in. South Mech, I think, for the first time, has themselves a lead in this matchup.
Yeah, and I think it's also really their first goal proper of the series in the first 2 games via Rory's Heart. And we've seen Rory's Heart with some highlights in the first 2, defensively and offensively, but he really hadn't had the chance to shine, and this time he does. To make it a 1-0 game. Now East Mech will have to respond. They're going to have to get a goal of their own. And Nidak with a touch up high. Rory's Heart running back on defense. Super Nacho shot far left.
Just Dre off the corner. Centers back up. Slapped away, though. Nidak, I think, got another little paw on that one. Now he soars up. Able to advance this ball forward. Super Nacho is there, though, to reject it. Take a look in the net here. Rory's Heart prepared for the shot. Lobs over and in. Super Nacho scores again.
Couldn't get up there quick enough. Had the boost. Did everything he could. But Super Nacho floats it over 2 of South Mech's players and evens it up at 1. You cannot stop the Super Nacho. He is unbelievable at this stage. And is going to look to get a sweep. And he's going to go for the ball himself. Gets a 100 boost as well.
Airborne joust. That ball falls stagnant. Just Dre gets to it. Unable to center up. Super Nacho got there, but fascinating Lemur. Another great play at the net. Still has the pressure, though, from Dre. Here comes Super Nacho again. Still so much coming at them, and only Toby hits it the other direction, though. Regroup here from East Mech.
And what I've noticed from East Mech here, Devin, is that they're bringing in only Toby at very pivotal moments in their possession A lot of times he's on defense. A lot of times he's not really getting any touches on the ball. But then you see those handful of moments where they push up hard, they push aggressively, and only Toby's there. But Super Nacho finds his second goal of the game on his fourth shot and makes it 2-1.
And the celebration from Just Jay coming in behind him. 2-1 lead after they were down 1-0. And East Mech now has themselves in position to sweep South Mech here in this final preseason game of the night. Just Dre had that one on a line drive. Luckily, Fascinating Lemur is there for South Mech. Rory's hard on an open net, and he will knot this game up at 2 apiece.
Found the weakness in East Mech's defense, and Rory's Hart gets his second goal of the game on behalf of an assist by Fascinating Lemur. Just a miscommunication there. Frankly, nobody was at the goal line. Only Toby, who's usually there to stop it, was not there whatsoever. I think maybe getting some boost as well and a distraction. And now the game all tied with roughly 3 minutes left in this third game. Royce Hart going to clear it out. But really, you could tell the pressure amplifying by South Mech. I think they realize this is really their last chance to keep the series alive. So they're doing any and everything they can, and it seems to be working. That's open net for Fascinating Lemur, and he's going to miss.
Couldn't get there. Nedak tries to recover. Can't get a good hit on the ball, though. Just Dre clears it out, and what was looking like the best opportunity for South Mech gets squashed.
Oh, that is so heartbreaking if you're Fascinating Lemur. The goal all by to yourself, and there's no one there, and then just a little tap in the wrong direction sends the ball slightly off, and that slightly off is enough to warrant a goal not happening. Super Nacho gonna bounce it over one, gonna try to float it over two, and Just Dre is there to hit it off, and Just Dre scores it to make it 3-2.
Tremendous execution from the top rope. Couldn't get the score, but Just Dre is there for cleanup on aisle 3. 3-2 lead with 2:08 to go for East Mech, trying to sweep South Mech here in this game. But everyone going blow for blow here in game number 3. And right there, they went blow for blow, too. They fell stagnant at midfield. Ball still really in no one's possession.
And there was aggression there played as well, Devin. A couple bumps, not full demos, but bumping them out of the way, trying to clear that goal line on the blue half. And for East Mech, could have been a little tough. Super Nacho's going to chase it in the air. He's going to have a bounce over Rory's Hart, but Fascinating Lemur gets credited with the save. Just Dre with a tap to Super Nacho on a pass, and there's open goal, but only Toby's going to knock it away. And Nedak could have had a shot there, and couldn't do it. Fascinating Lemur off the top bar.
And Super Nacho will clear it out at the last second. And then there's a demo there from Nedak. Back the other direction, South Mick on the prowl. That one's off left, off the back wall, trying to come back to it, but Super Nacho was already advancing. Fascinating Lemur trying to make a stop. The two defenders going at it here on the sideline. Toby now almost centered it up. Couldn't get a good swing on it, though. Fascinating Lemur, the defender for South Mech, moves it forward, back to midfield. 1 minute to go here. South Mech fighting for their lives right now to not get swept.
Oh, and Rory's Hart was all by himself. There was Nedak to save the day from a potential swarm, but he's going to miss the ball off the wall. That's crucial. And two players for East Mech on one side of the field. Super Nacho going to try and center it for Just Dre, but it's not going to work. And we're seeing a lot more out of only Toby in this game, Devin. A lot more offensive firepower from him. You see him there on the orange goal line. Just Dre with a shot up the center with 30 seconds remaining. We're seeing a switch by East Mech. I think they're noticing that they're far ahead in this series, that they can try some things, but Super Nacho stays to the status quo and gets another goal to extend the lead to 2.
Super Nacho has been aggressive. That's shot number 8. And he will pick up the hat trick here in game number 3. And is that the dagger for East Mech to take a sweep on South Mech? 23 seconds to go as that ball goes to an open net. Not done yet. Nedak scores on the kickoff.
And that's a miscommunication by East Mech. Both of them tried cheating on it. Super Nacho at least tried. And he missed the ball by just an inch. And this game is not over. 21 seconds. Still more than enough time for South Mech to get a goal. That's another crucial miss. But fortunately, only Toby is there to keep it away.
That could have changed everything in a blink of an eye. Now just 10 seconds remain. Final hopes for South Mech. Mid-air demo. Super Nacho almost closed out the game right there. Ball is up. Still got a hold on it, but that will do it. Eastmech narrowly will take the victory and take home the only sweep of our preseason quadruple header with a 3-0 lead over South Mech. Boy, Kenneth, that one, we all had some very exciting matches across every single series that we had there. So I think it's fair to say, I think I'm ready for week number 1.
Oh, yeah. Week number 1 is going to be spicy. A lot of good games, a lot of good series. I know that was a sweep, but South Mech were coming back. You got to give them credit. It's just that they came a little bit earlier in the series. They would have made it probably game 5, who knows, and go all the way to the end. But yeah, so much talent overall across all of these teams and so many great games. I think that if we get to switch things up, have these teams play each other differently into week 1 with everything they've learned from this preseason week, we're going to have some tie games and we're going to have our hearts pounding out of our chests at the end of each one.
Next Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern, we start week 1, the first ever routings of CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League right here on Podium Esports. All Charlotte-based high schools. Going one-on-one, best-on-best, 3-on-3 Rocket League for some esports competition at the high school level. We already saw tonight what was some tremendous games, and we're going to be able to see much more as we get ready for week number 1. Kenneth, what are you looking forward to most when we come back here in 7 days?
I'm looking forward to East Mech, I think, Olympic. I'm looking forward to a lot of these teams and how they're going to play, what rotations they bring, what players they're going to utilize, because saw a little bit of the previews for a lot of those players, but now how do they really maximize their presence on the field and how they're able to demolish teams if they can. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's so hard to predict. There's so many good teams, so many great players. It's so tough to really say how it's going to go down. But one thing is for certain, we're going to have a lot of fun, and these teams are going to bring it their all.
Well, that will do it for our preseason scrimmages here live on Podium Esports. Pleasure to have you with us. We cannot wait to kick off the season. 6 weeks of action, and then we have the playoffs. It all starts next Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern. For everyone at CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League, and for everyone at Podium Esports, including our director tonight, Gary Sexton, and Kenneth Bueno, I am Devin Henry. We will see you next week for some high school Rocket League, the CMS Varsity Esports and STEM League, right here on Podium Esports. This time, same day, next week. We will see you then as we get ready for some Rocket League action.